home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
We are live on 97.3 ESPN. I am Josh Hennig hanging out with you. Phillies, as I promised Nick Earnshaw yesterday, if you were listening on 97.3 ESPN, I promised him that the Phillies would break their losing streak in Texas, and that's exactly what they did. We're going to get into that this hour on the show. Phillies in Texas. There was something that happened last night that was very, very important, and I think is relevant to the rest of the season because there's a specific player who's playing so well right now, I don't think you can take him out of the lineup anymore. Plus, Vic Fangio spoke this morning. He had some interesting points, maybe thoughts, whatever you want to call it, about the Eagles' defense after preseason game number 1. Here's our lineup for today's show. Here, hanging with Hennig, 97.3 ESPN, live in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios on YouTube and X. We have Oscar Buttigieg, who covers the Phillies for the Spanish radio broadcast. He will join me coming up in about, 25 minutes from now. He'll be joining us. Also joining the show coming up, Andy McNamara is back. As you guys know, Andy McNamara has been a part of this show for many, many years here on 97.3 ESPN. We are going to have our weekly fantasy football conversations. That starts today. So he will be joining us coming up at 1:25. And at 2:25, we will hear from NG.com Eagles and NFL writer Chris Franklin. Of course, he's been covering the team, the Eagles, for many, many years. He will join us with some perspective on the Eagles. But as always, it's Hanging with Hennig, and you guys can join the conversation. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See, as I mentioned, streaming live on YouTube and X is where you can catch the show as well. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get all the content that I bring you throughout the week and every weekend here on 97.3 ESPN. But let's get to the Phillies, because last night was incredibly impressive on a couple fronts. And I'm so glad that Christopher Sanchez worked his way out of the one, we'll call it predicament earlier in the game, right? He worked his way out of a bad situation. And I'm really glad he did, because I started to see people like murmuring and complaining online about Sanchez. And, I got to be honest with you guys. This is my problem with social media. There are some people out there, they just ruin it for everybody. Don't they? Like, just shut up and watch the game. I don't need you to have a thought on every single pitch of the game. I don't care. For me, I'm watching the game. And by the end of the game, Sanchez had a really good game. He worked out some tough situations. And he finished the game strong with 6 strikeouts. A couple of those strikeouts near the end of the game. I told you guys yesterday when I was filling in for Mike Yell on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN, Merrill Kelly has had a rocky year, and the Phillies took advantage of him as the game went along. And that fourth inning, when they got those 3 runs, I remember thinking while I was watching the game, man, this is a really good baseball team. Not that I didn't think that before, but the moment that really stood out to me was when Brandon Marsh hit that home run. The version of Brandon Marsh that we have seen since the beginning of May. Remember, he went for that streak where he was 0 for 22. He had a horrible start to the year. Then he got injured. Then he went on a rehab assignment. Ever since then, Brandon Marsh has been dialed in. And to me, Brandon Marsh is the reason why even more so than Kepler struggles, that he needs to be the starting left fielder every day. There is no scenario why you can rationalize taking Marsh out of the lineup anymore unless there's a tough left-handed pitcher on the mound. This dude is batting over 300. This dude is mashing at the plate. Think about this. A guy who started the year horrible. I mean, he looked like the worst hitter in all of baseball. All of a sudden, he has become one of your most dependable hitters. Absolutely incredible that a guy who at one point was one of the worst hitters on your team, a guy who, when you saw him come to the plate, you rolled your eyes. Oh boy, here's Marsh. Great. Like, you literally looked at the guy and were like, I want nothing to do with this guy. He has now become one of your most dependable hitters. I think the Phillies lineup, we've said this the last couple of weeks here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. When you think about who the Phillies are at this point, the lineup should be moving forward. Brandon Marsh in left, Harrison Bader in center. Max Kepler, go collect your paycheck on the bench. I don't care how hard he's hitting the ball. I don't care about any of that. Give me the man who has the production. Give me the guy who is hitting the ball. Ride the hot hand. I don't care. Unless Tarek Skubal or someone of that ilk is on the mound, I don't even know if I take Marsh out against left-handed pitching anymore. Just in the 6 games this month, Brandon Marsh has 2 home runs, and he has 8 hits in those 6 games overall. The dude is lighting it up. And by the way, for a guy who on the season has 7 home runs, 4 of those home runs have come on the road. For a guy who struggled to start the year, now on the entire season, he has a .307 batting average on the road. You could argue that Brandon Marsh, on a team that has Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Alec Bohm whenever he comes back, Brandon Marsh might be one of the most important players on this team. Because when Marsh is hitting, the rest of the team seems to follow. And I'm really looking at Brandon Marsh, and it puts a smile on my face. Because this is a guy, when the Phillies acquired him back in 2022, he was a player that a lot of people were wondering, man, why are you acquiring this guy? Like, this guy isn't that great of a hitter. And all of the people who are smarter than me, who are the baseball experts, who all said, look, this is a guy that we want to get with Kevin Long. We want to get Kevin Long's hands on him so we can work with his bat, so we can improve him. And Marsh has become a solid to good hitter at times. Is he still a great hitter? No, he still has issues. He still has struggles. You know, you could argue that he is still not consistent enough, right? But what he has proven is that when he is on, he really lengthens this lineup. And if you can have a lineup that has both Marsh and Bader in it, I think this team is 10 times better than having Max Kepler out there in any scenario. I think Brandon Marsh has ascended to the point where there should be no scenario where the Philadelphia Phillies should ever start Max Kepler in left field ever again. And it's funny because the conversation we had weeks ago was Justin Crawford. But Marsh is playing so well, I don't even know. Do you even call up Crawford at this point? You guys can let me know how you feel at 609-403-0973. But the way the Marsh is hitting and how humble he was after the game last night, that's the other side of the conversation. You saw a Brandon Marsh last night that was he just looked happy to be there. Like, he wasn't like, yeah, I'm hitting all these home runs. Yeah, I got a .307 batting average since May 1st. No. He was like, he told the broadcast team, he said, hey, man, I'm making good contact. I'm trying to just keep it going. The man is in the zone. Don't take him out of the lineup. I don't care who it is. Patrick Corbin is pitching on tomorrow, Sunday. I would start him tomorrow, see what happens. Brandon Marsh is a guy that I had hopes for because when the Phillies acquired him, he is a phenomenal athlete. And you know what? He might not be the best defensive center fielder, but he has done overall a good job for the Philadelphia Phillies. And I still look at this team, and there are parts that frustrate me about this roster. But I got to tell you, Marsh is a guy that if he keeps playing the way he is now, he may become more important in the postseason than we realize. And I think that the answer is the way Marsh is hitting, just let him play until the wheels come off. That's what I would do. I would literally just put him out there and be like, Marsh, you're hitting so well that I don't have a reason to take you off the field. I'm looking at the Phillies' upcoming schedule right now. You have Corbin tomorrow. Not a great pitcher. I would play Marsh anyway. I'd just be like, no, you know what? Go out there, see what happens. Because if you need Marsh in the postseason, this team is not good enough to hope that Max Kepler makes contact. They are not good enough to hope that Justin Crawford can hit at this level. They are not good enough to hope that Weston Wilson and Otto Kemp are going to get the job done. You are at a point where you have guys like Patrick Corbin and Andrew Abbott coming up on your schedule. Abbott is the guy scheduled on Monday. Corbin is scheduled for tomorrow. I would play Marsh until either the wheels come off or you face a bona fide threat left-handed. Right now on the schedule, Friday, August 15th is Mackenzie Gore in Washington. That's the game I would tell Marsh he's coming out of the lineup. I would play him from now until Thursday. I want to see what Marsh can do against left-handed pitching. I know Stott stinks against him. I know Kepler is a waste of $10 million. But if Brandon Marsh can turn this around, he is going to become an essential player for this team down the stretch. And on a team where Kyle Schwarber is an MVP candidate, and when Bryce Harper is on, he's one of the best players on the planet, and Trey Turner hits all of his home runs away from Citizens Bank Park, which is a hilarious stat in and of itself, this team is starting to look more like the team we thought they could be. You know, the old Coach Denny Green, they are who we thought they were, right? Well, now they're starting to look like the team we thought they could be. And in many ways, it is because of Brandon Marsh. How wild is that? 609-403-0973 is the text. Don't forget, coming up in about 10 minutes from now, Oscar Buttigieg, who covers the Phillies for the Phillies Spanish radio broadcast. He will join us to talk more about the state of the Phillies. And I want to know from Oscar, you know, there is a lot of questions people have about this lineup, about this pitching staff. We're going to get into all of that with Oscar coming up a little bit later in the show. But right now, to you guys on the text board, Steven Ventnor chimes in at 609-403-0973. He says, I'm with you. I'm putting Marsh in left field, Bader in center until Crawford comes up. When Bone returns, Kemp can play left field versus left-handed pitching. And when Crawford arrives, play Bader versus left-handed pitching. Well, here's the problem, Steve. Bader actually has better numbers against right-handed pitching than left-handed pitching. So I would even get to the point where I would consider, can't believe I'm saying this out loud. Do we even need Justin Crawford at this point? Do you just wait until September 1st when you have to do the one pitcher, the one hitter call up, right? Crawford can be your hitter. I would wait until September 1st. I want to see more Harrison Bader on the field. I don't think he is just a platoon player. I think he can be an everyday hitter. Now, I see you mentioned, Steve, in your text as well about Castellanos. The problem with Castellanos is, so I'm not trying to be conspiratorial, okay? I don't actually have any information on this. But it almost feels like this organization is either being blackmailed or convinced that Castellanos and Kepler are better than they are. Because to play these guys as much as they do is just beyond me. Like, in what reality does Nick Castellanos need to play every day? Everyone else gets a day off. Why does Castellanos need to be out there every day? I don't understand it one bit. It just doesn't make any sense. And I understand here's the problem, Steve Bender. You're being logical about an illogical situation. There is no logic in Kepler getting as many opportunities as he's gotten. There is no logic in having Bader not play as much as you should, considering you gave up the 17th prospect in your organization to get him. There is no reason why Castellanos needs to play every day and everyone else gets days off and he doesn't need a day off. Listen, Steve, I appreciate you texting in as always, but I'm just letting you know, you are speaking logically to an illogical situation. 609-403-0973. Bobby and Wowitz says Brandon Marsh is turning into this team's version of Jason Worth. That's a fascinating analogy, Bobby, because, Jason Worth, now, I'm not casting any dispersions, but I think we all can agree that Jason Worth was a better baseball player than Brandon Marsh. Worth at his peak is better than Brandon Marsh. But, and there is a but to throw into this, that kind of energy that Marsh brings when he's playing well, that kind of work ethic when the team is going well, maybe that's where I say Bobby and Wowwood is correct. That it's the similarity in, it's not the little production that Marsh is giving you, because people might not remember this because it was, what were we talking about, almost 20 years ago. But Jason Worth was the fourth best hitter for many years on that Phillies team. You had Howard, Utley, Rollins, but Worth was the guy who was putting up some great numbers as well. He was the one having clutch hits. So for me, when I look at what we are seeing at this point in time with this Phillies team, you could argue that Brandon Marsh, he does have that kind of relevance. Now, I don't know if he's the fourth best hitter on this team. I mean, Schwarber, Turner, Harper. I would say Bohm is still better than Marsh. But if you want to say Marsh is the fifth best hitter, I think there's no problem with that. Dan EHT chimes in at 609-403-0973. Dan EHT says, Josh, you said all year Dombrowski did a poor job of constructing this team. Well, he did. He says, need to keep Marsh's confidence going. Keep him in the normal rhythm that's got him hitting so well. So Dan EHT is saying don't play him against left-handed pitching. Well, you want Weston Wilson out there, though? See, that's the problem. Do you really want Weston Wilson tomorrow and Monday? I would say, now, the Phillies don't agree with me because the Phillies, Harrison Bader hits a moonshot one night and they bench him the next day. So, they obviously have their reasons, but probably some analytics number that I'm not familiar with. But if you got two left-handed pitchers coming up, one tomorrow, one on Monday, I'm just asking the question, Dan HT, is it worth playing Marsh against one of them because your only option right now is Weston Wilson? Now, the reporting out there is that Alec Bohm is going to start a rehab assignment. He will be back down the road. But I'm not going to forego this team's ability to win games just because of that. All right, we'll talk more Phillies coming up with Oscar Buttigieg, Phillies Spanish radio broadcaster. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, when you watch the Phillies game, to go out tonight to watch the game. Go in on my friends at yesterday's Creekside Tavern, Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora for the Phillies game. The audio will be on the TV, on the inside, at the bar, or you could be outside for the live entertainment in the yard. Whatever you want to do, enjoy your summer and watch Phillies baseball with $1 hot dogs, $3 Miller Lights, all at yesterday's Creekside Tavern, Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. More Phillies talk coming up next. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. We are streaming live on YouTube and X. Just follow at Josh Hennig. Your go-to spot at the Jersey Shore to watch sports is also the Can't Miss Summertime Hangout for live music and great times in South Jersey. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora features The Yard, with an outside bar, TVs, and live music on stage every weekend. So bring your friends to cheer on your favorite team, watch the sunset on the back deck, and make new summer memories in The Yard. You can do it all at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to learn about upcoming events and specials all summer long at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, ClemicPerformanceMethod.com.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems, like snoring, aches and pains, hot sleep, or even an old saggy mattress that can keep you up at night. And our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now get a king bed for a queen price, plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hey, it's Chris Coleman, and I'm here with Brighton Richards from Apex East Roofing. Brighton, can you tell us who won your Patriot Roof Giveaway contest?
Hey, Chris. Yes, our winner was Corporal Anthony Cuthbert in Mays Landing, a veteran who served in both Iraq and Afghanistan. He had major problems with his roof, some that he didn't even know existed. Go to apexeastroofing.com to see the video of the job being completed.
Get a price on your roof in 30 seconds at apexeastroofing.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
When your AC is playing defense in the heat, it's time to call in the pros. Team up with Broadley's Plumbing, Heating, and Air for a new Bryant high-efficiency coastal system built to handle South Jersey summers and salty air all season long. Score 0% financing with no money down, plus rebates and tax credits on select systems. Trust the team that's been serving South Jersey for over 100 years. Call Broadley's, your local factory-authorized Bryant dealer at 609-390-3907 or visit broadleys.net. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Let's go Birds! If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Join the fun on DraftKings Casino, ranked the #1 online casino experience. They've got everything you've been searching for, thousands of exciting games, huge jackpots, exclusive offers, and more. New players get a 10-day welcome offer, 500 spins on Huff and More Puff when you play just $5 to start. Download the DraftKings Casino app, sign up with code DK973, and spin your favorite slots. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older, physically present in New Jersey. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Non-withdrawable. Casino spins issued as 50 spins per day for 10 days. Valid for featured game only and expire each day after 24 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends 8/24/25 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Number one, based on Eilers and Kraychek. 2H24 product analysis.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
People will come, Ray.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
People will most definitely come.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN. We'll get back to tech sport in just a bit at 609-403-0973. Joining us right now, as promised, let's talk more about the Philadelphia Phillies. Big win in Texas last night. By the way, they broke a 10-game losing streak down in Texas, did those Phillies. And joining us right now to talk more about it, it is Oscar Buttigieg. He joins us now on 97.3 ESPN. Oscar, welcome back, my man. How you doing?
George, how you doing, man? It's great to be here with you. Look, Fighting Phils, we won 4 of the last 5 games. Look, we're doing what we need to do. We beat yesterday a very tough Texas Rangers. They had won 12 of the last 14 games at home. They won the last 5 series. But look, it's a beautiful thing. Phillies are in first place.
Oscar, let me ask you about this, because, when you think about the conversation you and I had last time was about Christopher Sanchez, and Sanchez is putting together basically a Cy Young caliber season. For you, when you're watching him last night, I thought one of the most important points of the game was when he worked through the trouble early in the game. He's starting to show, Oscar, that this is not just a guy who's a good pitcher. This is a guy who has the mental capacity to work through tough outs. Yeah, he is. I mean, he is. Look, he's been growing as a pitcher ever since he joined the Phils about 5-6 years ago. He's pitching out of his mind. The last 3 seasons have been unbelievable, and it's all based on the changeup. I mean, the changeup is one of the toughest pitches to hit. He has the lowest average on his changeup in all of baseball, number 3 in terms of whiff. And look, the guys continue to grow, not just physically, but also the mental part of the game. And you saw it yesterday. He did not have his best stuff yesterday, and he battled to 2 or 3 innings against a very tough lineup. I mean, he had the bases loaded and was able to get the last outs, in a couple of times on those games. And basically, that's the difference between winning a Cy Young and being kind of a good pitcher. And he continues to grow. And I think he's gone under the wing of Zach Wheeler. And there's not a better guy in that line, in that clubhouse to be under the wing of. And he's always admired Wheeler. And just like Wheeler admired DeGrom and grew as a pitcher, building his game around DeGrom, that's what you see right now with Christopher Sanchez growing, not just as a great, he's becoming one of the best pitchers in all baseball. You mentioned about the part about Zach Wheeler. Let me follow up with you about that, because, we always hear stories about, guys will say, hey, I was kind of like lost, and then I met a guy. Like, I remember this story Kurt Schilling used to tell when he came to Philadelphia, and when he finally met guys like Tommy Green and Terry Mulholland, how it changed like his mentality as a pitcher. So like you're talking about the idea of Zach Wheeler, a guy like Sanchez, is in the same room, and there is a bit of a there's a life barrier. They're from 2 completely different worlds, but they're both still doing the same job, right? So it's the idea that you're putting Sanchez in an environment that actually helps him become better, right? Absolutely. And I give you the other example would be Luzardo. Luzardo has been inconsistent. The first 10 starts were unbelievable. With the last 12 starts, he has not been the same pitcher. He's very inconsistent. A great game, one game. The next game, he gets hammered. I think he's going to benefit tremendously by having Wheels and Nola. Nola has not been there. He's been most of the time there in the clubhouse, but he hasn't been pitching the way Nola is. Those are 2 guys that their main focus is being the best pitchers they can be.
and they're going to benefit from it. And particularly Christopher Sanchez admires Zach. He said it on his press conference when he signed that extension. We're going to have this guy he's going to be here for the foreseeable future. And I love the idea of Andrew Painter and him being kind of our future. And trust me, Luzardo will get better. Luzardo he's going to become a much better pitcher. He has one of the best arms in baseball, and he just needs to be more consistent. And Luzardo is going to come around. As he continues to be in this team and continues to be in that clubhouse.
Talking with Oscar Buttigieg, of course, he's part of the Phillies Spanish radio broadcast team. Joining us here, Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN. Phillies back in action tonight. It'll be, well, you mentioned DeGrom. They're going against DeGrom tonight. But the question about Wheeler, you brought him up. I have made people are all worried about the whole, the shoulder. Is it okay? Is it not okay? Oscar, I keep telling people, I go back to 2022 when Wheeler had the discomfort, they called it. Remember that in the elbow?
Yes.
He took some time off, and then he was perfectly fine. Maybe, just maybe, when you're 35 years old, you just might need a couple extra days off, right?
Well, and we need to keep in mind, he had 22 starts already. An average pitcher, he has around 30 starts a year. He has 22 already in the season. Look, this is a marathon. This is not a 100-meter race, and a pitcher has to throw so many innings. He's thrown 139 innings already. So we got to give him some time. He needs some time to rest. He's not the youngest guy in our clubhouse, but we know how important he is to our ability to be able to win the World Series. And look, if he needs a couple weeks off, let's give him a couple weeks off. He will be fine. This is a professional. He knows how to pitch. He knows his body better than anybody. And look, he threw a bullpen yesterday, and all the expectations are at this point that according of how he comes today to the clubhouse, he's going to be pitching tomorrow. So he wants to win the Cy Young more than anyone in this world. He's at 262, 9-5 on the year, and he has one of the best whips. He's at 0.92 whip right now. So look, he has a chance to win it, and he's going to do everything he can to try to do it and take it away from his Skeens. And actually, Christopher Sanchez, which I think is the other guy that he needs to take it away from. Sanchez ERA right now is at 2.36.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild to have two guys on the same staff. And it does give you, I'm not saying it's the same, but it does give you a little bit of a back in the day when it was Halladay and Lee on the same staff, right? There's a little bit of that. You got the right-handed guy, the left-handed guy. Neither guy is like a pure fireball pitcher, right? Both guys throw hard, but they also have other pitches they work into the repertoire. So it's giving Philly fans some nostalgia, Oscar.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we go back. We've had some great pitchers in this team. With Steve Carlton, the Steve Carlton era. You mentioned that era where we have all those aces. Like Cliff Lee, like Doc Holliday. Roy Oswald. We had some. Of course, Hamels. Look, this team is in a great position. When you have a great pitching staff, the chance for you to win are huge. We've had one of the best pitching staffs in our baseball. In ERA, we're number 4. Look, the addition of Duran, it's so important to this team. We needed, that's like a magic wand on this team and bringing that guy there. And look, he's been warming up out there, and I want him to come in on games where we've been hitting. We scored nine runs in the last game. I love the fact that the fans were booing Thompson the other day when he didn't bring him when we were winning 5-1. Look, we got to preserve that guy. That guy's special. He's the core of our bullpen now. Look, the combination when Alvarado comes up, that he's already throwing in Lehigh. When he comes up on the 18th of August, from the 18th of August to the end of the season, those two guys are going to carry this team together with our pitching staff to be able to make it to win the division, which I think should be the objective. We're 4 games up on the Mets, and look, the best is yet to come.
You mentioned Duran. I got to ask you about that because, we've seen some good closers in Philadelphia over the years, but that entrance, that's got to be one of the most wild environments that I've ever seen. I haven't even been in the ballpark for it yet, but I got to imagine, Oscar, for someone who's calling the game, do you even get lost in it, being like, almost watching the entrance of actually talking about what's going on?
Look, last Friday, I felt we were in the middle of Red October, in the middle of a ninth inning, winning by 1 run and having to close the game. I mean, it was so special. Look, it was impressive. It was surreal. The Phillies did a wonderful job on the entrance. I mean, emulating some of the things and even building on that. The Durantula component, believe me, Durantula mania is here and is going to be here for a number of years. I don't think this guy is going anywhere. And as long as he's healthy, this guy is going to be one of the best pitchers in this entire staff. I'm so impressed with him. And look, as I told you, I mean, it felt like Red October on Friday. I haven't experienced that since last October. Unfortunately, it didn't come the way we wanted. But look, what you want is another opportunity. And when you have Schwarber the way he's playing, and when you have a Harper in this team, anything is possible.
Talking with Oscar Bujan. Of course, he's on the Phillies Spanish radio broadcast, joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. You mentioned the hitting. I got to ask you about that, Oscar, because I was saying before you came on, I'm getting to the point where there's one guy that I don't think you can even rationalize and we're taking out of the lineup, and that's Brandon Marsh. He is hitting .314 since May 3rd. And the way he's hitting, I understand you got 2 lefties coming up, Patrick Corbin tomorrow, and then you got Abbott on Monday. But Oscar, do you even consider?
I'll keep him. You have to.
Right?
You have to. I mean, there's no other way around it. Take a look at what he's done in August. 15 at-bats. He's 8 for 15 with 4 doubles and 2 home runs. 4 doubles and 2 home runs in 15 at-bats. His average is .533 and his OPS is 1.733. You're not taking that guy out of the lineup. You can't. He deserves it. Give him a chance. Let's see how he does against lefties. I mean, we know that has been his Achilles heel throughout his career. But look, this guy is on fire. Man. This guy's on fire. You're not taking that bat out of his he's playing. I mean, he's going to be playing tomorrow and the next day against lefties. He has to.
I mean, I understand if you don't want to play him next Friday against Mackenzie Gore. Like, that's okay. I get that. He's one of the best lefties in baseball. But Patrick Corbin is not exactly as good as he used to be. I would say, listen, I'm sorry, Max Kepler. Let's put Marsh out in left field, put Bader in center, and let's ride this thing.
Look, I'm a big believer of this. This is there are 26 men in that clubhouse. They're all professionals. This is not about playing time. It's about winning. At the end of the day, it's about results. And if Kepler wants more playing time, start hitting and earn your time. I'm a big believer on that. I think March deserves to play every single day now. I would put in center field Bader, and I would put March in left field, and I'll ride with it as long as we're hot. Look, we won 4 of the last 5 games, and we got to keep it going. I mean, look. While the Mets are down, take advantage of that and try to maximize. The Mets have lost 9 of the last 10 games.
Oscar, before I let you go, you mentioned the big guy's name, Kyle Schwarber. He's getting into that MVP candidate conversation. For you watching him, for me watching him, I got to ask you because, you're sitting there calling these games, and me as watching the game, not calling the game, all I keep thinking when I watch this guy is, I can't believe this guy's gotten better every year. I mean, the guy has lost weight 2 straight years. He's become a better all-around hitter. He's walking more. He's striking out less. And then when he hits those bombs, I mean, it's almost reminiscent of Robert Redford in The Natural.
Well, he looks that way. Look, this guy, everything he does is amazing. I mean, what he's done this year is very, very special. It reminds me of what Harper did in 2021 when he won the MVP. This guy basically put his team on the shoulders and just rode with it. Look, he's 2 home runs away from taking the lead, or 3 homers away from taking the lead from Riley. He's leading the major leagues in RBIs, 2 ahead of Riley. And look, to me, Riley and him both deserves to be the American League and the National League MVPs. I mean, they being game changers. I mean, I know that Judge has have a much better OPS. I mean, he's hitting .339. Look, Judge was hitting .400 a month ago. He's down to .339. I mean, he's been collapsing just as the Yankees has been collapsing. And look, to me, I mean, Riley deserves a medal. He's a 941 OPS, 43 home runs. Both Schwarber and Riley, they lead the American League and the National League in home runs and RBIs. Those are big. Look,
wild.
Those are runs, man. Those runs count, and that's how you win games. So those two guys, to me, deserve it.
He's Oscar Buttigieg, of course. He is on the Phillies Spanish radio broadcast. Him, Bill Kulick, Angel, you all do a great job over
El
there.
Gringo Malo, man. Don't forget the Gringo Malo, man. He makes it. He brings it on. You know him better than anybody.
Yes, he's a great dude too. So that's always helpful as well, right? When you work with someone who's a great person too.
Yeah, he's a great person. I mean, he's been doing this for 19 years. I admire what he's done, bringing Phillies baseball in Spanish for the last 21 years. I forgot. He's gonna kill me if he hears that I give him. I took 2 years away. 21 years. He was actually last week. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame for the Hispanic Latin museum in New York. So wow. He was named to the Hall of Fame. So we're very, very proud of him.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Well, keep up the great work, you guys on that broadcast team. And Oscar, we'll talk soon.
We'll bring it up. Campanazo. Take it easy, guys. Thank you, Josh.
Josh Hennig here in the Dr. Squad studios, hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN. For those who didn't hear, so previously, I've told this story about how my previous radio job, we used to have the Spanish radio team, and I got to meet Oscar and Bill and Angel, and they're just all great dudes. So they did do a great job on the Phillies radio broadcast, doing the Spanish radio side. And I thought Oscar brought up a couple great points there that I want to hit on before we hit the break. One being about, when you have Sanchez in a locker room with a guy like Zach Wheeler, a guy like Aaron Nola, and he's almost like a sponge. He's like absorbing that. It has to make you wonder, how much better can Sanchez be? Like, we're seeing him have a Cy Young caliber year this year. But is there a possibility that we are going to see Sanchez get even better? Zach Wheeler keeps saying that he's going to retire in a couple of years. That's the reporting out there. That when his current contract is done, he's going to retire. Is there a scenario that when Zach Wheeler retires, that Sanchez is the actual ace? We all talk about Andrew Painter, right? Well, what if Sanchez is the diamond in the rough? What if Sanchez is the ascendant guy? Painter might still be the super stud, but I remember, in my mind, I'm going back a little ways for some of you out there listening on 97.3 ESPN, watching on YouTube and X as we are live in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. I know for me, one of my favorite World Series teams was the 2003 Marlins, because that team just had all these studs, right? But the guy who actually became the most important wasn't the guy with the best talent. That pitching staff, which those guys went on to have amazing careers, right? But the guy on that staff who is supposed to be like the most talented, you had guys like Dontrelle Willis and Brad Penny, but Josh Beckett kind of like became that extra guy. He became that next level guy. People forget that, Penny and Willis, they did not have a good postseason run. Those were two guys. Carl Pavano got a huge contract because of that run with the Marlins. But Beckett was the guy who I think got overlooked a little bit because he was a top-tier prospect who, up to that point, hadn't fully met his potential. And then he went on to have this incredible career. He wins World Series with the Red Sox and the Marlins. But there were a lot of people back then who were like, does Brad Penny have better stuff? Dontrelle Willis is a better athlete. Sometimes just putting a guy in a good environment can elevate the rest of the team. I mentioned Curt Schilling earlier in the show when he got to Philadelphia. His previous stops with the Orioles and other teams didn't go so well for him. I also think of the fact that Joe Bland became a better pitcher when he was surrounded by Hamels and Moyer and later Lee and Halladay. You think Joe Blanton was as good as he was before he got to Philadelphia? No, of course he wasn't. With the A's, he was with a bunch of young guys. No offense to the young guys, when he was with, was it Barry Zito, Tim Hudson, Mark Mulder? There's a bunch of young guys, not a lot of veterans on that team. Now you can put them with some more mature guys. There's a chance that Sanchez and Painter are your 1-2 for the next several years. And as Oscar said, it's all because you put him in that locker room with Nola, with Wheeler, and he's becoming a sponge. He's absorbing all that. He looks up to these guys. Says, how do these guys prepare? How do these guys plan? How do these guys handle the big moments? And so we may be overlooking the reality that as Oscar Buttigieg pointed out, Sanchez, his evolution and his development cannot be overlooked at this point. You saw more of that development last night when he overcame some tough situations, worked out of some scenarios where people online were turning into the, here we go again, Phillies pitcher struggling, and Sanchez said, not so fast, my friends. All right, we'll check back at the text board coming up on the other side, 609-403-0973. Still to come. Vic Fangio spoke today. He had some interesting comments about the Eagles and their defense. We'll get to that. Plus, you guys keep chiming in throughout the show. What are you doing in the outfield? I'm putting Marsh in left, and I'm playing him, and every day till the wheels come off. Put Bader in center field. Tell Kepler, collect your money on the bench. I don't need you in the lineup every day. That's at least what I would do. And then, don't forget, this team is going to have an influx of pitching coming up. Aaron Nola, David Robertson, Jose Alvarado, by the time we get back to that homestand after this 10-game road trip is done. Eagles preseason game number 1. I'll give you more of my thoughts on that. All that and more still to come. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. We are streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Just follow at Josh Hennig.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
The John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/GatorXUV.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Calvi Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Calvi Electric, the premier electrical contractor serving South Jersey for over 115 years. Visit calvielectric.com today or call 609-345-0151.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Going down in a rinse straight. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
7 hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
You blitz all night.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN. And glad to have you guys on board the show. Whether you're listening on 97.3 ESPN FM, tune into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See how, or you're watching on YouTube and X as we are live in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. I thank everyone for however you are consuming the show here. We'll get back to text board in just a bit at 609-403-0973. Don't forget, coming up in the next hour, we're going to dig deeper into what Vic Fangio had to say. You know, Vic Fangio, he keeps it real with you. And one of the things he was asked today about the horrible play of Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson. Now, I preface it by saying, and we talked about this yesterday when Nick Earnshaw and I were filling in for Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN on the Sports Bash. I understand you were playing against some of the best in the league. For Keely Ringo to get beaten multiple times by Jamar Chase, it's not the end of the world in and of itself. But it's the why they got beat. It's the why they got cooked is the problem. And I think that's what frustrates me the most. Keely Ringo didn't get beat just because Jamar Chase is a better player. Keely Ringo got beat because he still has not fixed the technical and mental errors, physical and mental, that has put him in this situation. You got to do a better job at maintaining a reasonable distance with the receiver. If you're closing on the guy, you don't go full speed and risk running by him. There are fundamentals of the game that at this point, from high school to college to the NFL, Keely Ringo should know by now. These are things that get worked on in practice, training camp, mini camp, off-season training activities, personal workouts, and he's still making those mistakes. And then Adoree Jackson, you're a veteran. You've been in the league for about 8 years. You should not be getting ripped apart by backup receivers. The Bengals' third, fourth, and fifth receivers were making him look like a scrub. You're a former first-round pick. Listen, Dave Klemick mentioned earlier on with Billy Schweim on the locker room. Dave Klemick, he knows Austin Johnson. Austin Johnson from St. Augustine Prep. Johnson played with Adoree Jackson in Tennessee. And Johnson told Dave Klemick, that's one of the fastest guys I've ever been around. Well, speed don't mean nothing if you're out of position. Because if you're out of position, you're going to get beat. One of the reasons why the Eagles brought Jacorian Bennett to Philadelphia is because the best game of Bennett's career was when he locked down Jamar Chase. Hold on. I just saw Kelee Ringo getting cooked by Jamar Chase. But this guy that most people have never heard of in their life, Jacorian Bennett, Maryland, he handled business against Chase. Now look, when you have one of the best receivers in football, I'm not asking you to shut the guy out or shut him down completely. But if you have a chance to make a good tackle, if you have a chance to make a good play, it's not like Joe Burrow threw every pass to Jamar Chase perfectly. You got to execute better. And I am legitimately worried that the Eagles might not have the cornerback that they need in camp. I am genuinely worried, which is why we asked the poll question yesterday at 973 ESPN on X. We asked the question yesterday. Who will be the Eagles' cornerback across from Quinyon Mitchell? Well, the latest poll results, and you still have some time to vote at 973 ESPN. The latest on the poll was 58% say Bennett, but 31% say the guy who's going to be the starting corner is not currently on the roster. Think about how crazy that is. Only 7% voted for Ringo. 3% voted for Jackson. That must have been Adoree Jackson's family members voting on that. His family voted for him. That's cute. I want Ringo or Jackson to be the guy. But right now, I think it might be Bennett. And of course, you get that 31% not on the roster yet. Remember, in past years, Howie Roseman has made moves. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Ronald Darby. He's not afraid to make the move before training camp if you need it. All right, coming up on the other side. What did Vic Fangio say today about Jackson, Bennett, Ringo, all that? You will hear from Vic Fangio. Coming up next, Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig.
Football season is back, and the Sports Bash with Mike Gill returns to Ocean Casino every Monday from 2 to 6 p.m., broadcasting live from the Fanatics Sportsbook inside the gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. This Monday, join me, Nick Earnshaw, and Pete G as we kick off the football season and get you ready for everything this year will bring on the gridiron. That's every Monday, live from the Fanatics Sportsbook inside the gallery at Ocean Casino Resort, right here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Sometimes we view fitness as an all-or-nothing proposition. Just because we can't make it to the gym or do a full all-out workout doesn't mean we should be a couch potato. In fact, even a simple walk 15 minutes a day can have amazing benefits. According to many published studies, walking briskly about 70 to 90 minutes each week, that's about 5 or 6 times, can improve our overall health and make everyday activities much easier. It's a low-impact form of cardio that can help us strengthen our heart and lungs. It's also a perfect way to clear our head and relieve stress. Walking, especially outdoors, can help boost our mood and improve our sleep. It can also help reduce stiffness and pain. So let's lace up our sneakers and go for a walk today. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Wipes clog pipes. Even flushable wipes can block sewer lines and cause costly repairs. If it's not toilet paper, don't flush it. Wipes, paper towels, feminine products, they all go in the trash. For more info, visit acua.com/don'tflush.
Summer with AC Pro refrigerant at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get a $15 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro refrigerant products that include a hose and gauge. If your vehicle's AC is blowing hot air, beat the heat with AC Pro. Visit your O'Reilly Auto Parts store or shop online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's a lot of uncertainty in the world, but one thing's for sure. You need a PC you can rely on. Whether it's for school, gaming, or whatever your next chapter holds, Lenovo.com has the tech to help you succeed. Shop PCs right now at Lenovo.com during their back-to-school sale, where students can save more when they sign up for a Lenovo Education account. Free shipping, easy returns, flexible financing. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Sail on in to Hutch's Marina on the Cape May Harbor, your full-service marina located at the east end of the Cape May Canal. Hutch's Marina has factory-trained mechanics to keep your boat in top running water. Dock overnight for the entire season at Hutch's Marina. Need gear or breakfast before your fishing trip? Visit the tackle shop. Hutch's Marina is family-owned and operated for over 60 years. Visit CapeMayHarbor.com. That's CapeMayHarbor.com for more information.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 2 of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. And as always, we are brought to you by yesterday's Creekside Tavern, Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. That's where you want to be to watch every Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers game. The best sports bar at the Jersey Shore is also your home for live entertainment during the nights and the weekends all summer long in the yard. You watch the games inside, outside, or on the back deck. You could do it all at yesterday's Creekside Tavern, Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. The best sports bar in South Jersey. That's where you want to watch the Phillies game tonight when they take on the Rangers with the audio on at yesterday's Creekside Tavern, Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. All right, we'll get back to text board in just a bit at 609-403-0973. But we got to get to what Vic Fangio said. I think that's going to advance this conversation. So, as we know, Vic Fangio, he is a very, very honest individual. So I tend to take his criticisms or positive, negative, his analysis at face value. He was the one who told you last year, Bryce Huff, not a good player. Doesn't really fit. He was the one who complained about Jordan Davis losing weight. What did Jordan Davis do? Lose weight. What did Jordan Davis do? Get more playing time. So Fangio is very, very upfront. And we got to get into, and I see your text coming in. Keep them coming in. If you're listening on 97.3 ESPN, if you're watching on YouTube and X, we are live at the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. Thank you for joining the show. We got to get to the Eagles because this cornerback situation has me nervous. So let's start with Vic Fangio. He spoke to the media this morning. He was asked about Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson.
Yeah, obviously they had some tough assignments in that game going against that quarterback and those receivers. But I think it's a great learning experience for both of them. And hopefully they'll both come back. Obviously, Keely had more balls thrown his way than Adoree did. But I think it's great that happened. And we'll see how much they can grow from that.
That is a fascinating answer from Fangio. He did not rip those guys. He didn't throw them under the bus. He literally just told you, I think it's a great learning experience. That sounds to me that Fangio still believes that Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson can be players for this team. Now, I'm not with the team every day in practice. I only know what the people report and what the people report see. There's stuff that happens behind the scenes, obviously. There must have been something talked about or discussed by Ringo, Jackson, Fangio, and all those guys that led Fangio to say, hey, it's a learning experience. I have heard Vic Fangio throw guys under the bus. I have heard Vic Fangio rip in the players. He is not afraid to criticize guys. Contrast that answer with this comment from Fangio about Sidney Brown. Take a listen.
I thought he did fine, and I think he'll keep progressing. Sidney's got a lot of good stuff to his game. We just got to polish him up and see things a little better, a little quicker, which is a natural progression for young players who he didn't have. He didn't training camp last year from a defensive standpoint was a very small chance for him to grow. So this is his time.
This sounds to me like the Eagles are looking at Kelee Ringo and Sidney Brown as part of their future. I think Fangio is saying to you, look, I see something in these guys. Let's see if they grow. Let's see if they develop. Let's see how that growth and development goes. It's very, very fascinating answers by a guy like Vic Fangio who, again, he has ripped guys before. And I was surprised this morning when he did not rip them. Now, it doesn't mean that Sidney Brown or Kelee Ringo are going to start the season, but Fangio sounds way more patient with these guys than he was, for example, last year. His lack of patience with Bryce Huff, his, shall I call it, displeasure with Jordan Davis and his weight, his frustrations with the linebackers not named Zach Bond, right? This is a guy who has been very vocal at times about the team. I think that is a clear sign from the defensive coordinator of the Eagles that maybe guys like me, Josh Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN, we overreacted a little bit. Now, I'm not excusing what happened. I'm not going to forget it. But what I am saying is if the DC of this team, if the defensive coordinator feels the way he does, I tend to think that there might be a scenario where the rest of us maybe need to take a closer look, right? So let's take a closer look really quick before we get to the text board at 609-403-0973. Kelee Ringo got beat by one of the best players in football. You heard Fangio say that he got thrown out way more times than Dory Jackson. So the Bengals were obviously picking on him and taking advantage of him. So there had to be something that happened that Fangio thinks is fixable. If it is, then I'm all for it. Because you got a game coming up next Saturday. Hear the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. Eagles-Browns. What if Ringo goes out next week and looks way better? Or Dory Jackson goes out there and looks way better? Now, we're going to talk with Andy McNamara coming up in less than 20 minutes from now. Aside from being a fantasy football insider and NFL host for podcasting on the Sick Podcast, Andy also covers the Browns week in and week out. Shedeur Sanders looked really good last night. I mean, really good. So, are the Eagles in a situation where this will be 2 straight weeks where they see a bona fide quarterback coming at them? Now, you're not going to see a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins type of wide receiver group, but you are going to see potentially, if they start the starters, you might see a Jerry Jeudy. You might see a Deontay Johnson. There are some dudes who can play in Cleveland. Not as good as the Bengals, but it's another interesting test coming up. Now, the man we've all been wondering about, Jacorian Bennett, the guy that they acquired. Here is Vic Fangio's comments on the new defensive back.
Watched a little bit of his tape last year with the Raiders. He's got some good speed, got some coverability. We'll see.
We'll see. I forgot how abrupt the ending of that comment was. Yeah, we'll see. Now, contrast that with Nick Sirianni's comment from a few days ago.
Yeah, again, we liked his tape coming out. We liked his tape when he was with the Raiders, and he's got speed, coverage ability, special teams value. So we're excited to have him.
Fangio's like, yeah, we'll see, whatever. And Nick Sirianni's like, we like this tape. That just goes to show you, it doesn't sound like that Fangio is too excited about Bennett yet. He sounds like he's way more invested in Ringo and Jackson than he is Bennett. So very interesting contrast in comments there. How are you guys feeling after you hear what Vic Fangio had to say? Let me know. 609-403-0973. Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios live on YouTube and X. Just follow at Josh Hennig. Paul from Millville chimes in. Says, Josh, my old roommate from college is a massive Raiders fan. He told me most of Raider Nation is upset that Bennett is gone because he was their best corner. I'm not opposed to bringing in someone like an Asante Samuel Jr., seeing what he has. He's young and doesn't have the market he thought he was going to get. He says, give me the exciting whites at safety, Mitchell at the corner, and see if maybe Bennett and Samuel can lock things down. Thanks, Josh. A couple things there, Paul Millville. So, the Asante Samuel Jr. is very, very odd, I will call it. Because for him to not have the interest that he thought, first of all, he needs to fire his agent, obviously, because his agent did him poor. They did him dirty, right? For a guy with his talent to not be locked into a job at this point is very strange and bizarre. Is number one. Number two, you just said it yourself. Asante Samuel Jr. is a slot. I think the Eagles still want DeJean in the slot. You heard the way Fangio spoke about Sidney Brown. You know how much he likes Andrew Makuba. I think this organization looks at DeJean as more of a guy who can be a Swiss Army knife than the actual starting safety. I think they're getting reps for Mac Williams at slot corner to see if he can be the guy. If he's not the guy, then maybe they do call Asante Samuel Jr. But even then, Samuel is only going to be the backup nickel corner. The Eagles seem to be very, very content with the starting safeties being Reed Blankenship at the one spot and any of these three, Brown, Makuba, or Tristan McCollum. Those are the three. So I don't think Samuel Jr. is going to come here unless he's willing to be a backup. Now, back to the whole Bennett conversation. Bennett was let go by the Raiders because he does not fit into the Pete Carroll cover 3 scheme. Pete Carroll runs a very, very, very heavy zone style of defense. The Legion of Boom from the Seattle Seahawks days, with Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas and all those guys, that was a scheme built on zone coverages. Fangio runs way more man defense than Pete Carroll does. So Bennett just didn't fit in with what they do. I do agree that I am inclined to believe that Bennett might be the guy who's going to get the job. But the way Fangio verbalized it, it doesn't sound like he is as convinced as maybe the rest of us are, Paul Millville. Now, I don't think Fangio is so stubborn that he would not play the best guy. Fangio has shown many times over the years he will play the best player. He doesn't care if you're a veteran, a rookie, a first-round pick, a sixth-round pick. He'll play who the best player is. But as of right here, right now, you go off what Fangio said, he ain't that excited about Bennett. He sounds way more invested in, let's see if Keely, Ringo, and Adoree Jackson can figure this out. But we'll see. I tend to agree with you. I think that Mitchell and Bennett are probably your 2 best corners at this point. And there's still time to acquire a guy. And listen, Asante Samuel Jr., I know he's the big free agent name out there, but the Eagles can always acquire another guy who's maybe not going to make it to another team, or maybe a guy who another team is not interested in paying in the future. Maybe the Eagles can swoop in and get that guy. Jeff from Summers Point chimes in at 609-403-0973. Says, Josh, take it easy. You've been feisty the last 2 days with these cornerbacks. We can't dominate in every single position. We are in good shape. Crack yourself open an ice-cold drink and a frozen fireball. Go Phils, go Birds. I'm headed to the beach now. That's from Jeff at Summers Point. Listen, well, I'm feisty because Jeff at Summers Point, I When I see somebody who I know who can do better not doing well, it frustrates me. When I see somebody going out there telling me that they can do the job and then they don't do the job. When I see somebody tell me one thing and then do something else, yes, I get a little feisty. Yes, I do need to maybe have a cold drink and calm down. But as of right here, right now, I'm just telling you as I see it, Jeff, at Summers Point. I look at the Phillies, you mentioned the Phillies, the Eagles as a team with talent. Is that talent going to rise to the surface in the moments that you need them to? That is the conundrum, my man. And listen, as I said, Andy McNamara, he'll be with us every week from now until the Super Bowl, talking fantasy football, talking football betting odds each week here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. But we'll ask Andy as well his thoughts on what the Eagles are going to see in the Browns next Saturday when Merrill Reese and Mike Quick call the game right here in your home for Eagles football in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN. Andy will tell us, is that going to be another test for Keely Ringo, for Adoree Jackson? Will it be a worthy enough measuring stick for Ja'Cory and Bennett? These are all questions I don't have the answer to as of right now. But Andy McNamara is going to be able to give us some of those answers coming up. And like I said, I tend to believe that when it comes to the Eagles, I just want to see this team clean it up. I agree. I'm with you, Jeff. You don't need to be dominant at the number 2 corner. You saw last year when Slay missed time, they brought in Isaiah Rodgers. Was Isaiah Rodgers the best cornerback in football? No. There's a reason why he was number 3 on the depth chart last year. But he was more than serviceable. If I can get Keely Ringo or Adoree Jackson or Ja'Cory and Bennett to give me at bare minimum the type of ability and capability that we have seen from a guy like Isaiah Rodgers. Remember, the Eagles won a championship with the 2017 team with Ronald Darby, Rasul Douglas, and Jalen Mills. None of those 3 guys are great corners. But they were all either above average to good. So I agree with you. I don't need you to be dominant. I need Keely Ringo to not let Jamar Chase run by him without trying to tackle him. I need Adoree Jackson not get shredded by the Bengals' 4th, 5th, and 6th best receivers. I need these guys to play better. Give the Eagle fans a little confidence, a little hope. That's all I'm asking. I don't think it's too much to ask. And by the way, back to the safety point. Before we get to Andy McNamara. I am very curious to see when Makuba does get on the field. Is he going to be able to play as freely as he did in college? Remember, at Clemson previously and then Texas, Makuba became one of the best safeties in college football because he was a playmaker, he was a hard hitter, he was an instinctive player. Will he overthink at the NFL level? Will he need time to work out some of the rookie rough edges? We know what that guy's capable of, but is he going to be ready week 1 to do it? I think that is the big question. Because if Sidney Brown and Makuba are not ready week 1, don't be surprised if it's Tristan McCollum out there. All right, coming up next, the first fantasy football segment of the 2025 NFL season with my guy. He's been joining me for years here on 97.3 ESPN. Andy McNamara joins me next. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle, and streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch Virtual Studios. Just follow at Josh Hennig on YouTube and X. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Andy McNamara talks NFL and fantasy football next. Your go-to spot at the Jersey Shore to watch sports is also the Can't Miss Summertime Hangout for live music and great times in South Jersey. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora features The Yard, with an outside bar, TVs, and live music on stage every weekend. So bring your friends to cheer on your favorite team, watch the sunset on the back deck, and make new summer memories in The Yard. You can do it all at Yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to learn about upcoming events and specials all summer long at Yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm, totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Pour down in a rinse straight. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
This summer, get ready to relive the glory days. Because Hank Azaria and the Easy Street Band are bringing the ultimate Springsteen celebration Saturday, August 23rd to the Music Box at Borgata. Tickets are going fast. Grab yours now at Ticketmaster.com. August 23rd, the Music Box at Borgata. Hank Azaria and the Easy Street Band, a Springsteen celebration. Be there.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Rita, hot head, let's bring the nail gun over here.
Jose stands tall atop his sustainable flooring company.
Totally. It's renewable and moisture resistant, but we have several green options too. Or we got some beautiful reclaimed oak.
But floored by his success, he needs to hire more installers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for the ultimate sports bar experience? Welcome to Ventnor Social, Down Beach's newest upscale sports bar. Watch every play on 27 big screen TVs with a state-of-the-art sound system that puts you right in the action. Grab a cold drink, savor American eats and fresh seafood, and don't miss their unbeatable lunch, happy hour, and dinner specials. Enjoy live music on the open-air deck, an arcade for the family downstairs, and video games that will level up your night. Ventnor Social on Ventnor Avenue. Visit their Facebook page for up-to-date info and specials.
With Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, you can easily find the right home insurance for you, even if it's not with Progressive. But if you don't choose us, then sure, okay, it's not going to work out. We're not going to cry about it or stay awake wondering what our future together would have looked like. We can't get emotionally invested even if it sounds like we are. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer allows you to easily compare home insurance rates and coverages in one place, even if it's not with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. I love you. I shouldn't have said that.
Sebastian Maniscalco.
Now, is this a family? Is this your mother? Where is she? Is she in the crowd?
The mom's up there. What kind of family is this? I'm sorry.
It Ain't Right Tour 2025.
The poor mother is in the balcony, and the kids are down here with the father and his gumad. If this was the 80s, the kids would have been up there, and the parents would have been down here.
The biggest comedian in the history of Atlantic City. Live at Ovation Hall and Ocean Casino Resort, September 18th to 28th. Get tickets now at theoceanac.com.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by.
Star-Lord.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here, hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle, and streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Dan and EHC will get to your text and more a little bit later this hour, but right now, as promised, it is time to talk some fantasy football with my guy. Andy McNamara is back. Talk some football with him. We'll be doing this each week from now until the Super Bowl, or as long as Andy can tolerate me. My friend, welcome back. How you doing today?
Josh, I'm doing good, my man. I've tolerated you since 2019, so I think I can handle it.
I was saying before you came on, we've been doing fantasy football conversations for so long now. Yeah. So it's almost like part of the fabric at this point.
It is. And by the way, loving the new show, brother. You are killing it. It has been fantastic. I'm enjoying listening each week and happy to be back on with you.
So before we get to the fantasy football, I do got to ask you, because the Sick Podcast, your podcast, you talk Browns each and every week on the pod. The Browns, Shedeur Sanders looking pretty good last night. So I got to ask you, because in Philadelphia, we have concerns about our number 2 cornerback position, right? Keely Ringo, Adoree Jackson, they got shredded on Thursday night. So are the Browns going to be presenting the kind of challenge to test the Eagles' corners next Saturday?
Yeah, and a very important week for both clubs because it is the joint practices. They did this last year, 2 practices and the exhibition game. And for coaches now with the preseason games, we know you get the 3rd, 4th guys who aren't even going to be in the league. These joint practices, coaches are saying, are more valuable for the team for development than the games. Right. And so this is an important week to game plan, try different things. So I think it will be a good test for the Eagles secondary because mainly when Joe Flacco was back there dropping dimes, because this dude is just looking better and better and sharper, and he looks ageless right now. And his connection, man, with Jerry Jeudy and also David Njoku, it is looking fantastic. So that will be a test because, to stretch them downfield, see if they can handle it. So I think the Eagles will get some real value out of it.
What's funny about what you just said is that in years past, if you mention David Njoku, Eagle fans get nervous because the linebackers over the years. But we may have the best linebackers we've had in a long time in Philadelphia. Yeah. So it's like you're almost at the point where it's like, hey, the linebacker position is fine, but who on earth is going to be the corner across from Quinyon Mitchell? Obviously, Quinyon Mitchell will get the Jerry Jeudy assignment in a normal game, right? Whereas your competition is between Keely Ringo, Adoree Jackson, and now Jacorian Bennett. Although if you ask Vic Fangio, we played the audio before you came on, Fangio is doing the whole, well, it's a good learning experience for Keely Ringo. Then he gets asked about Bennett. It's like, we'll see.
You got to love Fangio, right? Just old school. Doesn't care. Doesn't care. Right? Doesn't care. He's been in the league for 50 years. Okay, what are you going to do, right? He's fine. The thing is, for the Browns, outside of the 2 players that I mentioned with Jeudy and Njoku, gets thin real quick. So I don't know how much of a test it will be from a pure talent wide receiver on corner, but we know Joe Flacco can place the ball just about anywhere perfectly. So that'll be the challenge because after Jerry Jeudy at receiver, it gets dicey. You got battling for the number 2 spot, Deontay Johnson, who just got weird last year. Remember, we talked fantasy in real life. He was as reliable a possession receiver as you could get for several seasons. Then went to Baltimore, refused to play, got traded somewhere else that didn't play, got back to Texas, got back to Baltimore. And it's like, what are you doing? And it looks like, and I still think he is waiting to implode. But right now, it looks like maybe it has clicked in his head like, if I want to continue my NFL career, I might want to stop being a jackass. That might be a great start. So he's kind of getting that figured out, maybe for now. And after that is Cedric Tillman, who I got 2 of his autographed rookie cards. Might have went a bit heavy on that that bite last season, Josh. But I still believe he is big. He's fast. He's a possession guy. Had some concussion issues last year. Has to stay on the field. The talent is there. So this will, again, for the Browns receivers, be a test. How do they look against these Eagles corners? So I think it's going to be, like I said, the Eagles corners might not get the test of elite receivers outside of Judy, but you have Flacco tossing the ball.
Flacco tossing the ball. Before we get to the fantasy football, yeah, Shedeur looked really, really good last night. I think you and I had this conversation a couple months ago, and I'm gonna want to like recycle it here real quick, because you and I both predicted that Dylan Gabriel was not going to make this team months ago. And I'm starting to see it now play out. What you and I thought was going to happen, that it looks like, if people keep talking about, they're going to have 4 quarterbacks. No. There'll be 3 quarterbacks in the roster, and Gabriel will be on the practice squad so Andrew Berry can save face. Because remember that, according to the owner, your boy Jimmy Haslam drafting the quarterbacks of Gabriel and Sanders was Andrew Berry's idea, right? That was Berry's idea to draft these quarterbacks. Apparently, the owner didn't want him to. I don't know. I don't really care. But Jimmy's an odd individual. Maybe not as dumb as Jerry Jones is, but Jimmy's an odd individual.
Yeah.
But still, it's funny that Shedeur is looking like the guy. You remember the old Denny Green thing? They are who we thought they were. Well, Shedeur looks like who we thought he was.
I thought, and here's the thing, as we know, and people will say it's preseason, the defense is vanilla. We know all the cliches. You're playing second, third string people. We've seen Kenny Pickett light it up in preseason, and we know Kenny Pickett sucks, who's also on this team, by the way, right? Yes. So preseason to a point, I've seen, going way back, Brandon Weeden, remember that name for the Browns? Looked fantastic in preseason. And the first week of his rookie year, you got trapped under the American flag. Doesn't always equate, is what I'm saying. But what I wanted to see is like, okay, you put the stats up. How did he command the huddle? How did he run the offense? How did he look in play action, which is a big part of this offense? And on one of the touchdowns, his play action, phenomenal. And that's something he said he had to work on. He dropped back, just had the nice pull, rolled out super smooth. I saw him directing traffic because I'm pointing. I saw him in and out of the huddle. And this is with backup linemen as well. So from that was more impressive to me than him throwing touchdowns, because if it's preseason, you're chucking it up. I thought he looked very smooth, very crisp, and settled down after coming in a little hot right away. First pass was high, he was amped up. So the battle is this. Any national person you hear, okay, Josh, talking about Shedeur Sanders is going to win the starting job. Incorrect. I guarantee you that is not happening for week 1, okay? Look at the Browns' schedule. You want to run that gauntlet with a rookie? No, you want to run it with the seasoned, unflappable vet of Joe Flacco until the bye of week 9, barring injury. And then you figure out what might happen with Shedeur, whatever. The battle is for the backup spot. And Shedeur was 4th on the depth chart. I think from that game alone, with the hamstring injuries to Pickett and Gabriel, this is where he could start to climb. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Shedeur move up a spot. And to me, how he looked, I would feel very comfortable with the Flacco-Sanders 1-2. Give Pickett the boot. And I just don't think that they're going to, the more I think of it, Josh, I don't think that they're going to cut Gabriel because of what you said, saving face. I could see them letting Pickett go. But this is, again, a huge week for both Pickett and Gabriel in Philadelphia. If they can get on the field, stay on the field, and look good.
To your point about the Browns' schedule, Bengals, Ravens, Packers, Lions. That's your first 4 weeks.
How's that treating you? You want a rookie doing that? I don't.
No.
I don't.
But that leads us to the first question for fantasy football, Andy, because let's start with your Browns, right? When you're looking at that schedule, is that a daunting schedule? Yes. But what do all those teams but one have in common, Andy? Not great defenses. So if you are a fantasy person, right, I am now... It looks like I'm going to be in 2 leagues because we are in the 97.3 ESPN lead together, Andy. Yep. You won 2 years ago the league championship.
Got my ring right there.
Ring on the screen. Last year was Nick Earnshaw. He won it last year. So we got some winners. I've won the league before, so we are some winners around here.
You know what you're talking about.
But I got to tell you, Flacco, is he a guy that maybe, look, you're not drafting him high in your fantasy draft, but is he someone that maybe, like, the 12th round, let's say, let's say you're looking for some quarterback options and you see that you got the Bengals, you got the Packers, you got the Lions on that schedule. Is there a part of you that says, you know what, Flacco, fantasy football quarterback?
There is, in the sense that we know now, so many quarterbacks these days can get you some extra fantasy points with your legs. We know, like a Matthew Stafford, Flacco isn't doing that. If he's not getting you 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and probably a pick, it's not going to be a good fantasy day. But he can get those. And in the last stint with the Browns over those 5 weeks, 300-yard games all over the place. And so my strategy with Flacco, for me, would be I draft who I think my starting quarterback X is, get him. Then later, much later, maybe at the end, I always subscribe to the strategy of have 2 quarterbacks. Have your buy option on your roster instead of having to scramble it when your starting QB is on bye. I like to have that ahead of time. Same with the tight end. I like that strategy. So could Joe Flacco fill that role and then you kind of see how it goes? Absolutely. And you can get him late, right? So yes, I think for a quarterback as a backup on your fantasy, bye-week coverage, depending who you get, Joe Flacco right now is looking good.
Now, we all know who the best quarterbacks are in fantasy football. This isn't rocket science. Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow. Everyone knows who the best quarterbacks are in football, Andy.
Yeah.
But once you get past those 4, what are you telling people to do? Because there's a lot of questions about, hey, Jalen Hurts, good fantasy quarterback, but he ain't Lamar in terms of putting up the stats, right?
Right.
Jared Goff, without Ben Johnson now, does that elevate Caleb Williams in the quarterback rankings, right? You got Jaden Daniels year 2. We saw what happened to C.J. Stroud in year 2, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of questions about these quarterbacks once you get past the top 4 names.
It's true. I think your Jaden Daniels comment, definitely relevant, would spook me a little bit. Doesn't mean he's off the table, but you have to keep that into account with the C.J. Stroud factor. I think C.J. Stroud actually elevates himself a little bit this year with the possibility of going into year 3 with some more weapons, with the knowledge and how smart he is. So I think C.J. Stroud could rise a little bit. How about my old boy, little Baker Mayfield? Little 30 mil extension, new offensive coordinator, so a bit unproven there, but he's got the weapons coming off a career best year. Baker is cooking, and that's somebody, again, is that going to be my first choice as my starting fantasy QB? No. But if I'm filling out other position spots and I get a Baker and let's say maybe it's a Bo Nix or a Brock Purdy or even a Flacco later on, can I be comfortable with a Baker Mayfield, what he did last year? Yes, he is, I believe, a legitimate top 12 fantasy starting quarterback. So you got him. Now, like I said, I think Bo Nix could be sneaky good and probably isn't getting the feel that he should. I'm staying totally away from Justin Fields. I am flabbergasted I don't hear more about that the Jets are just punting on the quarterback position. Justin Fields has not done it at any level. And I like Justin Fields. He's a Buckeye. But he's not doing it. Okay, he's not doing it. It's not happening. So I think Justin Herbert is getting dropped down a lot. Did they add enough on offense? Maybe not, but if he's healthy, he's there. So those are a few names. And, of course, like an old reliable. People like to dump on Dak Prescott. But look, that guy typically, if you look back over the fantasy years, can get you, when he's healthy, 4 rushing touchdowns and can pop up. And you look at the end of the year, you're like, oh, it was like QB8. And I got him late. So those are the type of ones, if you don't get some of the big names, that's sort of the next level that can still be contributors and keep you comfortable in the fantasy world.
Talk with Andy McNamara, fantasy football expert. Of course, he's the host of the Sick Podcast. Like, subscribe, wherever you get your podcast at AndyMC81 on the Twitter X platform for our weekly fantasy football conversation. To piggyback off of that, you mentioned Brock Purdy. Very interesting name for this reason, Andy. Good to very good real-world quarterback.
Yeah.
Maybe not as good fantasy quarterback. Talk about that part of this conversation, because people go into their draft, maybe you know who Brock Purdy is, but he might not be the best option to help you win your fantasy league, whereas Kyler Murray might not win as many real-world games as Brock Purdy does, but a guy like Kyler Murray would be a better fantasy football option, right?
Right. Like Kyler Murray gives you a higher ceiling, maybe lower floor. Brock Purdy sneakily has been finished the QB10 and QB6 in fantasy points per game over the last 2 seasons. So this is a case of higher floor, lower ceiling. Probably somebody that you're going to look and at the end of the day, get you around 18 fantasy points average per game. We're not getting the 50 that Lamar might get one week, but we're not getting the basement either. You were getting a steady flow. Geno Smith, I think, can fall into that category too. New team with Pete Carroll. So it really depends, again, what's your strategy going in? If you're gunning for Josh Allen, then you're going to have to take him pretty high. If you're building out the rest of your team and you think, I feel I can get by with one of those quarterbacks, a Brock Purdy who I can get later. And then if you do that again, couple up with another guy who's pretty steady, like a Geno Smith, or take a flyer on more of a boomer bust guy. But like, that's the type of thing. I'm in one keeper league that I have, that I won last year, actually, the Dynasty League. And I have Brock Purdy and Geno Smith. It's a 2 QB league. I got both those guys, and both were very even, very steady, and helped me because I didn't have to worry about them.
Right.
So it really depends on how you want. But yeah, you're right. Like Brock Purdy isn't going to win you a fantasy league with blowout numbers, but he's definitely not going to lose it for you either. And he's going to keep you a nice high teen average.
All right. So with that being said, who is the quarterback that worries you for fantasy football? Like, who's the quarterback that, like, they're a good quarterback, right? Maybe they're a guy that, like, like, you're a Browns fan. You might be like, hey, I like that guy to be maybe my quarterback, but I don't want him to be my fantasy quarterback.
Right. Yeah. Like Patrick Mahomes is one that has so much name recognition, but is at this point in his career and this point in the Chiefs' development and just how they keep going is a better real world than fantasy. We've seen stretches where they'll win, but the fantasy numbers totally unspectacular. And we've seen the fantasy value drop. And you have to remember, too, his favorite target, Travis Kelce, has sort of matched that over the last couple years and is coming down. Doesn't mean he can't find anybody else. But during that last Super Bowl win, remember, halfway through the season, Andy Reid said, we need to go more run heavy and go that route. And the team's adaptable. They're going to do it. So Patrick Mahomes is somebody personally, like if he fell to some round, 4th round and he's sitting there, I'll take him. But I personally do not want to have Patrick Mahomes as my fantasy quarterback at the price I'll have to go get him at. Because also, I don't think he's going to be consistent.
Also, don't forget the offensive line, not exactly improved from last year.
Well, that's a great point as well. So Patrick Mahomes falls in that realm there. We talked about Jane Daniels' upside, but is there going to be a step back? Caleb Williams, he's a flyer, but I just don't really believe in the player. They put everything around him. Better offensive line. I think he'll be better. But fantasy-wise, I want to pin my hopes to the Bears and Caleb Williams. I don't. And certainly somebody like a Trevor Lawrence, who I don't think too many people are high on, but, name recognition sometimes goes, I'm going to have to see it to believe it before I buy in a Trevor Lawrence.
See, you haven't named the guy who I think is a dark horse quarterback. Okay?
As far as being good or bad? Like
good. Like a good dark horse.
Who do you like?
Drake May. Because got Josh McDaniels now, a real offensive coordinator, a head coach who's just going to be like, hey, man, as long as you do your job, I don't care, and it's like, and I can totally see a scenario where Drake May pops off this year with a new coordinator. If Stephon Diggs is half the player we know he can be, right? Like, if Diggs just goes out there and is solid, I mean, he's better than anyone the Patriots had at receiver last year.
Oh, sure. He's banged up a bit.
And listen, we saw, look at what Bo Nix did last year with a good coach in Sean Payton.
Yeah.
I think we all can agree that Drake May has more potential than Bo Nix does.
Oh, absolutely. I think Drake May has lots of potential. I sort of compared him coming out with the upside of like a Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
And like a poor man's Josh Allen type of deal, like that type of feel to him. Now, the question is, like you said, does he have the weapons? Sort of in that same vein as Justin Herbert. Does he have the weapons? Because outside of Stephon Diggs, who's listed as questionable right now, Demario Douglas, just a guy. Kyle Williams, just a guy. Mac Hollins, just a guy. Keyshawn Booty, just a guy. Right? Fun to say, but like there's no stars if it's not Diggs, and we've seen Diggs, can he stay on the field? Hunter Henry, good tight end. Is he a superstar? No, he's a possession. Austin Hooper's at the end of the road. The running game looks good with the Stevenson, Travion Henderson. Henderson took one to the house on a kick return yesterday. That looks good, but that doesn't necessarily help the fantasy numbers for your quarterback. So it's not that I don't believe in Drake May. I just wonder the weapons and talent around him. Will he be able to reach his potential with who's around him?
By the way, you brought up Herbert multiple times. I got to say before I let you go, I think the return of Keenan Allen is going to be a sneaky boost because he's the kind of possession receiver that Herbert, when he drops back and he's looking around, how many times we watched a game last year, Herbert's looking, and he almost is looking at the face. He's like, will somebody get open?
Yeah.
Somebody, please. Somebody.
Please.
And, Keenan Allen is that sneaky guy who, he'll go, hip to hip with a guy for, 8 yards and do that little, hip shove, the hip check in hockey, and, get himself open for, 10 yards and a first down.
Yeah, exactly. It can be a bit of a comfort blanket. I'm not buying Keenan Allen as a fantasy option, but you're right in the sense I think real world-wise it's going to be nice. I'm very intrigued by the 6'3", 210 rookie Trey Harris, who they have, who's listed as a backup right now, but there is a lot of room for a star to be made. And we saw Ladd McConkey as a rookie last year ball out. He's a little banged up now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. So Trey Harris, you put him on the outside. Quentin Johnston is fine.
Well, Johnson came on at the end of the year.
He did.
Came on at the end of the year.
He
did.
He
kind of found himself near the end.
Does that continue? Does that grow? If it does, great. If not, that Trey Harris, because really the tight end spot, they punted on that one. Will Dissly, we've seen him around forever. Blocker, he can catch the odd ball. Tyler Conklin, he has never shown up, with the Jets or anything. So it's really coming down to, and then the rookie Omarion Hampton, who I want a ton of shares in fantasy football because we know the Chargers are running the ball much more so than Najee Harris almost blew his eye out with fireworks. What's with these guys in fireworks? Who's the guy? JPP blew his fingers up. Yeah. Have somebody else handle the fireworks, people. I know it's fun, but you're worth millions of dollars. Give the fireworks to someone else almost blew his eye out. Crazy.
So true.
Oh.
He's Andy McNamara, AndyMC81 on the Twitter X platform. Of course, the Sick Podcast. Like, subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts. At Andy, was it Andy McNamara Sports or is it Andy MC Sports?
Andy MC Sports on Instagram, at AndyMC81 on X.
Gotcha. There it is.
Yeah.
Andy, tell the folks what you got going on with the Sick Podcast coming up.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're watching on the stream, you can see my sweet professional fantasy football player shirt. We have a fantasy football champion shirt. Thank you. Those are up for sale on X on my pinned tweet at AndyMC81. So you can get hooked up with that. If you're a fantasy champ or you like that shirt, there's some Buckeye and Brown stuff too. You can check that out. Also on the horse racing side, the King's Plate, the Canadian version of the Kentucky Derby is coming up this Saturday. So we have a ton of fun. And I'm not breaking down, deep dive old man with a cigar horse racing talk. Okay. You've seen the stuff, Josh. It's interesting. We get crazy. We have fun. We have a championship belt that we're battling over. So check that out. You're going to enjoy that. And of course, lots of fantasy football talk coming up this week. And hey, with it being Eagles week, Josh, we'll talk off the air, but hopefully have you on the show this week.
Okay, we can coordinate that for sure. And of course, Andy will be joining us each week during the football season. Fantasy football season, people are getting ready, Andy, so we got to give the people the information.
Give the people what they want. And of course, hey, hashtag Ask Andy is back. So on either of those X, Instagram, hashtag Ask Andy, get your fantasy football questions in, and we'll light you up, help you win your league.
Absolutely. Andy, man, talk to you soon.
All right, brother. See ya.
Josh Hennig here on Hanging with Hennig, 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of CIL. We'll wrap up the second hour of the show coming up on the other side. Keep the text coming in, 609-403-0973. Dan and EHC will get to you on the other side. Plus, coming up at 2:25, Chris Franklin, NJ.com, will join us to talk about the Eagles. Another day of training camp. What did we learn from the Eagles from preseason game number 1 and from the latest practices? Of Chris Frankel will tell us coming up at 2:25. All that and more still to come. Hanging with Hennig, 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. And we are streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
Hey, South Jersey, this is Billy Schweim. Tune into The Locker Room every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN. Each weekend in The Locker Room, you will get passionate sports talk from a fan's perspective, along with interviews with some of the biggest names in sports. That's every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon in The Locker Room with me, Billy Schweim, on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, ClemicPerformanceMethod.com.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems, like snoring, aches and pains, hot sleep, or even an old saggy mattress that can keep you up at night. And our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now get a king bed for a queen price, plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you gotta hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats. plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig hanging out here on 97.3 ESPN. Before we wrap up the second hour of the show, I promise I will get to Dan in EHT. I always enjoy Dan in EHTs because he always comes out with me with random things. At 609-403-0973 is the text board. He says, my dream scenario: Phillies win the World Series, Eagles win the Super Bowl again, and then Josh Harris sells the 76ers. That's my dream come true, says Dan in EHT. Oh my goodness, that's wild. First of all, I would just be happy the Phillies winning the World Series. There is so much joy that would be had for this Phillies team to finally cross that finish line, get that championship. I think the whole city would thoroughly be so happy with a Phillies World Series championship. If the Eagles win a Super Bowl again or not this year, I'm not going to be heartbroken. I would be more like disappointed if they don't make a deep playoff run. But the Phillies winning the World Series to me is like the apex. Like that's next on the bingo card for me. That's the next bucket list check mark, whatever analogy you want to make, because I just feel like this team was built with the distinct idea of winning a championship. You gotta win a championship at this point. You gotta put the thing together. Come on. The time is now. I don't have time to wait for these guys to figure it out. Listen, and maybe I'm not a good Philly sports fan. I don't even care if Josh Harris owns the team or not. To me, Josh Harris buying a team, selling a team, it has no consequence all my life. I actually find it more entertaining than anything that the guy owns the Devils and the Washington Commanders. I think it's more funny than anything else. But maybe I'm a bad Philly sports fan. All right, third hour of the show coming up. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems, like snoring, aches and pains, hot sleep, or even an old saggy mattress that can keep you up at night. And our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now get a king bed for a queen price, plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Recovering from an addiction is an individual accomplishment. A young mother who chose recovery to care for her family. A high school athlete overcoming opioid addiction. A couple celebrating his recovery. Everyone's recovery is different, and there's no shame in asking for help. Call 844-REACH-NJ. Trained counselors are available 24/7 to help you find the recovery option that's best for you. Tell us your story, and let's begin your recovery today.
The John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut,
pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/GatorXUV.
Town Square Media has teamed up with Seize the Deal to bring you unbeatable local offers on food and family fun right here in South Jersey. Looking to treat the crew? Grab two $25 gift cards to Twist Pretzel and Ice Cream for just $25. That's half price for delicious soft pretzels, creamy ice cream, and summer snacks everyone will love. Check out Island Grill in Ocean City, the island's go-to spot for fresh catches, local flavor, and a laid-back beach vibe. Deals like these go fast, so grab yours today at seizethedeal.com.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him, it's a sack!
Sixers.
Oh, baby!
And Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Third hour of Hanging with Hennig. Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM. The 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. And we are streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. Still to come in about 25 minutes from now, Chris Franklin from NJ.com covers the Eagles in the NFL with the latest from training camp today. Vic Fangio spoke this morning before camp. A lot of celebrities in the house. Very slim-looking Fletcher Cox out there. He looks like he's in, well, what's the proverbial, the best shape of your life? It looks like post-football is treating him very well. Let's put it that way. So it's good to see that from the veteran players. And listen, Jacorian Bennett, he spoke a little bit to the media today. He seems to be pretty excited to be in camp. I'm very excited about this Eagles season, and we'll get to the Phillies in a minute. But this Eagles season, to me, is way more fascinating than 2018 because this Eagles season, see, 2018, when you won the first championship in franchise history, there was so much of a good vibes hangover that it almost didn't matter to people that the Eagles barely won week 1 and then lost in week 2 in Tampa. It was like people didn't really it was almost like didn't faze them. They're like, hey, listen, this team will figure it out. We're Super Bowl champs. You know, they really hung on to that word to the defending champs thing really intently. This time, this Eagles team, they have already dismissed last season. There is a level of focus and intensity and deliberate intent with this roster right now that excites me, that fascinates me, that piques my curiosity to say this is a very different attitude, mentality, look to a team than what we saw in 2018. And I'm very fascinated to see, does that create a different result? Is there something unexpected around the corner coming up? Again, I am very intrigued by this Eagles season. That's why I'm excited to talk with Chris Franklin coming up in about 20 minutes from now. But let's get back to the Phillies for a minute here. Josh Hennig hanging out with you. Text board is open as always at 609-403-0973. And Dan from EHT mentioned in the last hour about, his dream sequence would be Phillies win the World Series, Eagles win the Super Bowl, and then Josh Harris sells the Sixers. And obviously that's a bit tongue-in-cheek by Dan EHT. But I think the bigger question with that is, I too am fascinated about the Phillies winning a World Series because this team was built to win a championship. The explicit intent of this collection of players, maintaining this core, building around the players on this team. It is a direct and explicit intent that we are trying to win a championship now. Not next year, not 3 years from now. We need to do it now. Kyle Schwarber's having an MVP caliber season. Brandon Marsh is having the best stretch he's ever had in the Phillies uniform. Christopher Sanchez and Zach Wheeler are both having Cy Young caliber seasons. This team needs to win. They need to win now. And this is the moment. This is the time. And for as much as I have complained and ripped Dave Dombrowski over the last couple of years here on 97.3 ESPN, Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. I'm telling you guys right now, for as much as have I ripped and complained and been frustrated with the way this team has been built, I am well aware, I am well acquainted with the idea that this team, this organization, they have the tools to win a championship. It is not beyond the imagination that this team can make a deep playoff run. But they need some things to go their way. They need some things to line up for them. One of those things being this lineup. That brings us back to the conversation we had in the first hour here on 97.3 ESPN. And of course, you guys can join that conversation at 609-403-0973. Also, if you're listening on 97.3 ESPN mobile app, thank you for listening. We are also live on YouTube and X. Just follow at Josh Hennig. Like, subscribe, download, share with your friends. Do all that great stuff. We appreciate your support. I said in the first hour, the way Brandon Marsh is playing, I would like to see him stay in the starting lineup. Brandon Marsh right now, since the beginning of May to now, after a horrible start to the season, he is batting .314. 6 of his 7 home runs have been from May 3rd to August 9th. He has a almost .380 on base percentage during this run. And I'm starting to look at Brandon Marsh and say, if he is the hot hand, I'm putting Kepler on the bench. I'm putting Harrison Bader in center field. And I'm going to see if Marsh can hit against some of these lefties. I know historically he has not been good. But is there a reason to bench him against mediocre to poor left-handed pitching? The Phillies have 2 left-handed pitchers they are going to face coming up on the schedule. Tomorrow, it's going to be Patrick Corbin. Monday, it's going to be Abbott of the Reds. Now, I get it. On the surface, you're saying, Josh, why on earth would you play the lefty against... This is supposed to be a platoon, right? Well, this year, Patrick Corbin has a 3.91 ERA. He is not the Patrick Corbin he was years ago. Is there an opportunity for you to turn around and say, you know what? Let's see if Marsh can handle a left-handed pitcher. Now, I get it. Abbott is a better pitcher this year. Then you have Mackenzie Gore next Friday. But do you just let Marsh play it out and then sit him on Monday? Listen, if it doesn't go well on Sunday, then you have a reason to sit him. Hey, we gave it a shot. Because I'll tell you this. I know this might sound crazy to some of you listening on 97.3 ESPN. There are scenarios in the course of a baseball season where you just have to try and see if it could work. Sometimes you just got to see. Patrick Corbin has allowed 15 home runs this year. 5 of them against lefties. Now, the batting average for left-handed hitters are not great. But that 5 home runs does make me curious. And again, Andrew Abbott is having a much better year than Patrick Corbin. And if you were to turn to me and say, you can't start him against Abbott, I totally get it. Abbott's numbers are way better against left-handed hitters. His numbers against hitters overall are way better than Corbin's. But I think there's an argument to be made with the way Brandon Marsh is hitting, how hot he is. You need his bat in the lineup. Frankly, you need his bat in the lineup more than you need Weston Wilson's bat in the lineup, okay? Right now, Weston Wilson is your platoon for left field. His at-bats are not screaming confidence at this point. Yeah, he had that home run a few days ago. I get it. I totally do. But there's nothing about Weston Wilson that gets you excited. And in fact, did you know Weston Wilson in his career is 0 for 3 against Patrick Corbin? I don't know about you guys, but I'm not exactly pining to see Weston Wilson play tomorrow afternoon. I'm not exactly sitting here being like, you know who we need out there? Weston Wilson against the Patrick Corbin and the Rangers. On the season, Weston Wilson is actually one of the Phillies' worst hitters against left-handed pitching. This season versus left-handed pitching, Weston Wilson has a 189 batting average. Against right-handed pitching, he has a 400 batting average. Weston Wilson has 12 strikeouts against left-handed pitching and 37 at-bats. So you have a guy who is practically a waste against left-handed pitching in Weston Wilson. A guy who is absolutely on fire in Brandon Marsh. If I'm the Philadelphia Phillies, tomorrow, you know what I'm doing? I'm starting one man in left field, and that's Brandon Marsh. Bader should be in center anyway. I mean, it's realistic. If I never see Max Kepler start a game for the Phillies again, I won't be upset about it. Maybe all of Patrick Corbin, maybe all of Max Kepler's fans will miss him in the lineup against Patrick Corbin, but I certainly won't. I say Brandon Marsh right now, the way he has been hitting for the last few months, has evolved into one of the best hitters on this team. You have Schwarber, the MVP candidate, Bryce Harper, the superstar, Trey Turner, who's finally come out of his slump. Marsh has an argument to be made that he has been the 4th best hitter this year on this team. On the surface, it's Alec Bohm. And by the way, we just found out yesterday Alec Bohm was going to go on assignment. This has been the longest 10-day injury list trip I can remember. You realize Alec Bohm has been injured for more than 10 days. We're actually at, what is that? Let me see here. 7, 14. We're at 21 days for Alec Bohm. And just now he's doing a rehab assignment. This is the longest rib injury ever. And maybe I'm being irrational. Maybe I'm being harsh. But, like, what is Alec Bohm doing for, like, 3 weeks on the 10-day injured list? And just now he's going to go for a rehab assignment. This is going to be the worst rib injury for a baseball player all time. So weird to me. Like, I almost forgot Alec Boehm was injured. He's been just disappeared for so long. Mike Gill likes to use this analogy on the Sports Bash show on 97.3 ESPN. I think Alec Boehm was like the wrestler they wrote off the television show. It's like WWE went into Alec Boehm and was like, hey, we're going to write you off the show for about 4 weeks. What? Yeah, we're going to say you have a rib injury. Just go away. It's just so strange to me. I don't get it at all. It just perplexes me to no end. The guy was injured before the All-Star break. Comes back from the All-Star break. Plays a game. All of a sudden, the rib injury got worse. How bad is it? Well, it's so bad, Alec Boehm isn't on the road trip. He hasn't played in 4 weeks. But sure. Yeah, we're all waiting for Alec Boehm to get back. Whenever he comes back. Whenever he's done busy doing whatever he's doing. And again, I say this a bit in jest, all right? I don't actually know how serious Alec Boehm's injury is. I just feel like baseball is such a weird sport because, like, I've seen quarterbacks in the NFL play with broken ribs. Tony Romo play with a punctured lung. Like, guys play with all kinds of crazy injuries in football and hockey. I've seen basketball players like Joel Embiid play with a face mask. I've seen other basketball players tape their fingers together if they have a broken finger. Like, I've seen dudes play with all kinds of injuries before. And Alec Boehm has a rib injury before the All-Star break. Comes back from the All-Star break a few days later. Plays. All of a sudden, the rib injury is a problem again. And then 4 weeks. I mean, I'm going to look this up real quick. How long does a rib fracture take to heal? Now, again, there's multiple ribs. So, now, according to the Mayo Clinic and the Cleveland Clinic, all right, so I'm going by the doctors. This isn't Josh Hennig's information. This is, all right, so according to this is a pain tolerance issue. The tenderness and the pain and the bruising is different from person to person. All right. According to them, this is a 6 to 12 week recovery timetable. As long as it's a non-displaced injury with the ribs. It says most fractured ribs heal without any surgical intervention. So then that means the 4 weeks he has not played is on brand, on track for this injury. Big Al from Violin. Big Al from Violin knows what I wanted to say, but he's thinking what I was thinking. 609. Look, I'm not trying to cast aspersions at Alec Boehm in his personal life, Big Al, okay? I'm not. I'm really not. But it was very public on social media how he spent his All-Star break, and he comes back, and all of a sudden his rib got worse. We'll just leave it at that. 609-403-0970. Big Al from Violent. He understands where I was going with that. I appreciate you, Big Al from Violent. All right, coming up the other side. Let's go back to Eagles training camp. What is going on with the Birds? What is the latest on the cornerback competition? Vic Fangio being more positive about Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson after a horrible Thursday night than I ever expected. We'll get all the details coming up next. Chris Franklin from NJ.com. NJ Advanced Media covers the Eagles and the NFL. He is on the beat for them every single day. We'll ask his thoughts on the Eagles, the state of the team, the cornerbacks, and more. Coming up next, Josh Hennig hanging with you on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And we are streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. Your go-to spot at the Jersey Shore to watch sports is also the can't-miss summertime hangout for live music and great times in South Jersey. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora features The Yard, with an outside bar, TVs, and live music on stage every weekend. So bring your friends to cheer on your favorite team, watch the sunset on the back deck, and make new summer memories in The Yard. You can do it all at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to learn about upcoming events and specials all summer long at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, clemicperformancemethod.com.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Sebastian Maniscalco.
Now, is this a family? Is this your mother? Where is she? Is she in the crowd? The mom's up there. What kind of family is this? I'm sorry.
It Ain't Right Tour 2025.
The poor mother is in the balcony, and the kids are down here with the father and his gumad. If this was the 80s, the kids would have been up there, and the parents would have been down here.
The biggest comedian in the history of Atlantic City. Live at Ovation Hall and Ocean Casino Resort, September 18th to 28th. Get tickets now at theoceanac.com.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Super Sale and get 40% off paints and stains August 8th through the 14th. With prices starting at $29.39, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
When you own a directions, texting Janine and shipping, on us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you, which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots on us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year, you guessed it, on us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/22/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of 1 unlimited intro line apply via 12 monthly internet bill credits. 1 discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data in service areas. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence 2H24.
The seafood, extraordinary. The value, tremendous. The sunsets, on the house. It's Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant. Dine indoors, on the deck overlooking the bay, or watch the game at Sliders Bar with a new baseball-themed sliders menu. Enjoy delicious seafood, including Yuri's famous all-you-can-eat crabs, tropical summer cocktails, and daily specials. Yuri's has a kids menu and an arcade. And next to Yuri's is the Boathouse Restaurant. 2 great ways to experience the Jersey Shore's best waterfront dining. Yuri's and the Boathouse at the foot of the bridge in Wildwood.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Oh, wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Football season is back, and the Sports Bash with Mike Gill returns to Ocean Casino every Monday from 2 to 6 p.m., broadcasting live from the Fanatics Sportsbook inside the gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. This Monday, join me, Nick Earnshaw, and Pete G as we kick off the football season and get you ready for everything this year will bring on the gridiron. That's every Monday, live from the Fanatics Sportsbook inside the gallery at Ocean Casino Resort, right here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I want my picks back, and I want David Putney.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
I want all my picks back, and I want David Putney just because I feel like it.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already?
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN. By the way, shout out to Big Alan Violent. He totally was picking up what I was putting down, and we'll just leave it at that. Let's get it back to the Eagles right now. Joining us on the phone line, as promised, Chris Franklin, NJ.com. NJ Advanced Media covers the Eagles and the NFL. He joins us right now to give us the latest on the Eagles. Preseason game number 1 in the books. Back at training camp today. Vic Fangio spoke this morning. We'll get Chris Franklin's impressions and more on the Eagles as he joins us now here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Chris, welcome into the Saturday show. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, Josh. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. So I got to start with this with you because I got to be honest. I don't know if you were as surprised as I was. I was very surprised that for a guy like Vic Fangio, who has been known to throw players, say, under the bus at times, for him to be as understanding as he was about Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson today.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things where I think he notices what the cards he's been dealt so far, and it is just one preseason game. You know, it is one preseason game. It didn't go as well as I think he'd hoped to be. A lot of vanilla looks defensively, but I think he's got to build his guys up confidence-wise. You know, he's been around for a while. He knows he can slam them down and be very frank, but he also knows when he needs to build those back up. And those guys are probably taking their performances harder than what Fangio says. Pretty much like he's doing the Will Smith thing, where he's putting his hands out saying, "You see, this is what happened." So and I think he knows that Bennett's going to be playing a role in this now. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm not too shocked, but it is one of those things that they're probably harder on themselves than anything he probably has to say.
I find it fascinating though because, you know, Chris, I remember like I remember what he said about Bryce Huff last training camp. You know, he mentioned Jordan Davis needed to lose weight. You know, this is a guy in Fangio that he'll come out and tell you, right? He'll be like, you know, yeah, like remember he said with the linebacker, he's like, well, you know, how he's gonna do how he's gonna do. Like this guy ain't afraid, but yet he sits there and says, well, it was a good learning experience for these guys. I'm just like, really? Like you didn't rip them? I mean, I got to tell you, Chris, like I'm watching the game on Thursday night. I'm like, man, Keely Ringo is taking some horrible angles, and Adoree Jackson, he's getting shredded like the 5th and 6th receivers on the Bengals. I thought Fangio would have a little bit more fire and brimstone than being the understanding grandfather.
Well, I think that happened during the film session.
Okay.
Like, what are you guys doing? Like publicly, it's like, and also it's been a couple days removed, so I try he doesn't probably want to dwell on what happened in that game because I have a feeling like he may have been a little bit too blunt if it was the day after that. I think he may do that, and again, like publicly, he's like, all right, just move on and just go on from that. But yeah, the thing, the closeout speed that Adoree Jackson showed when he's playing off coverage wasn't great. The fact that Keely Ringo didn't throttle down and set himself up to try to make that tackle and chase past him, that wasn't great at all. So yeah, it's publicly he's going to make even kill, say okay, and use these joint practices coming up to be the litmus test. But yeah, he probably wasn't. He probably addressed it, and I'm being very conservative, saying probably addressed it very sternly during the film sessions.
Chris Franklin from NJ.com joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Steve Franklin News on the Twitter X platform and on Instagram. The other guy who got to speak a little bit today was Jacorian Bennett, the new acquisition for the Eagles. I know that some people out there still might not know that he's the guy the Eagles traded for, but his claim to fame, Chris, was actually the opposite of Keely Ringo. While Keely Ringo struggled against Jamar Chase on Thursday night, Bennett's claim to fame is that he handled Chase last year. So what are your perspectives on the new Eagles corner?
Well, first off, to be able to get him in that deal, I mean, it sounds like a broken record. Kudos to Howie Roseman for able to swing that. Even though I like Thomas Booker, I think he's a good guy and everything. And that piece, they just have so many pieces there that was going to be tough to keep him in the roster. So to get to address a position of need, which we saw Thursday is definitely a position of need, I think that's big. And I look at him. The only question I have is I thought he tailed off a bit, and more recently he had that good season a couple of years ago. But now I want to see what he does now in this system, and I think he has some really good traits in there. Physically, I like the in characteristic talent-wise. I think he has a speed to match with everybody else. He's not as handsy when the stuff I saw when I went to look back at some of the games he played. Not as handsy as say Ringo was before it, like as Ringo is. So I like what he could potentially do. It's a matter of just getting him up to speed now, learning how the communication and the calls, and that's going to take some time. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see, when you start looking at this in Saturday's upcoming game Saturday, if maybe there's a miscommunication, that something doesn't happen right, or during practice, maybe there's something that's not said or communicated well, and they'll fix that stuff. But overall, I like what he can do, and they need somebody to fill that CB2 role, because if you don't have anybody to do that, and you're forcing Quinyon Mitchell to go travel with somebody, it's going to wear him down as the season progresses. I mean, even teams can just do that and go, okay, we're going to send somebody in motion just to try to wear him down, so that in the second half, late in the game, maybe he's tired and stuff like that. So it's a domino effect from there on out. So they need Bennett to step up and be the guy, and they just need somebody to say, well, and claim this position in the next week or two.
Well, to me, it's not just what you just said about Quinyon Mitchell. It's the fact that who's on your schedule, okay? If all things are adding up, right? The Cowboys, they got 2 stud receivers. If Terry McLaurin's contract gets done, that's 2 stud receivers. The Rams got multiple stud receivers. The Bucs got multiple stud receivers. I think Addison might be back by the time Week 7 comes around. So that's the Vikings having 2 stud receivers. It's not like this schedule is full of a bunch of teams with 1 good receiver. There's a lot of teams on the Eagles' schedule that second corner could make or break some of these games.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you mentioned that's a good point by you too, because you look at that schedule. It's a murderer's row to begin with, and you don't want to put too much pressure. You don't want to have to put DeJean out on the outer edge, even though he could do that. Now you're starting to put yourself out questions on the back end, so you don't know what to do with that. It just throws everything out of whack, and we know how symbiotic that when it comes to all 3 levels of the defense. If you're not getting the pressure up front, from those guys, and the linebackers can hold, but then you got the weak link in the secondary, good luck. Now you're giving up explosive plays. If you have to shift everything around, you're taking away what you did well last year, and then now you're starting to question what's going to happen long term. So yeah, they absolutely need Bennett, Ringo. Unfortunately, I'm taking Jackson out personally. I think it's between Bennett and Ringo now, because I think Jackson he's just lost a step. And the fact is now something you have to look at now is, because he's a veteran, is if he continues to not play as well, is he going to be on the roster week 1? Because you don't want to fully guarantee that contract if you're not playing well. Even though it's like $1.35 million or something like that, you may not want to pay that, guarantee that. It's not a lot, and they're trying to do extension. So there's a whole lot that is cascading off this one competition.
What about Eli Ricks? What is how does he factor into all this? Because I know that there's a lot of people out there that there's a lot of Eagle fans, Chris, that like the idea of Eli Ricks, even though we've never seen him actually do it on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I'm one of those guys who thinks Eli deserves a shot, and I'm shocked he wasn't really thrown into the rotation as is, just to see it. Because to me, especially if you're going through this whole youth movement, you've kept him around for a few years. Why not see what he can do and put him in a legitimate thing? I like his physical traits. I like the way that he plays. And that one is, yes, he has been inconsistent, but I think that also some of that comes with not getting the experience against some of these top, better receivers as well, too, a lot of times with the backups. I just want to see what he can do, and I think he can do a decent job there. But the fact that he's not being thrown in there, something tells me maybe they're seeing something else that it may be withholding him. And I know they tried him in the slot before as a nickel corner, and that much. I really want to see him really take part in that battle, but yeah, I don't foresee him all of a sudden coming. It'd be a nice dark horse thing to see, but I just don't see him being in there unless barring an injury.
NJ.com Eagles and NFL writer and reporter Chris Franklin joining us here on Hanging with Hennig, Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, we are streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Chris, let's stay on the defense here, because a lot of fans also have been clamoring about Cooper DeJean. Obviously, Cooper has become a very, very popular player in Philadelphia in a short time. But based on Vic Fangio's previous comments, at least my interpretation is that the Eagles are not necessarily looking for him to be the safety. They're looking for him to be kind of like a joker player, like a multiple weapon all over the field, and that they're evaluating to see who else can play other positions around Cooper DeJean. Not that Cooper DeJean is necessarily like going to be the starting safety week one. Is that correct?
I mean, I was told a song that Cooper DeJean was not a safety. He's just a guy who was going to lock down your number one. But I don't know. Maybe Vic hasn't heard that or whatever. I don't know if he's seen that. But I look at it sometimes, and I know we're talking about like when it came to competition, but sometimes you just need to get your 11 best players on the field, what have you. And Cooper is that. So in order to have him on that field, because in a way, I think the way that was set up perfectly, if you do use him as a safety, is he's basically going to be in the slot sometimes, because we know base-wise a lot of teams use 3 wide receivers to begin with. And so if you use one of that, you use Reed Blankenship to be like your midfield guy that overlooks and doesn't let anybody get behind you, and then you just put him back down into the slot which he played last year as a nickel corner. That's where he plays well. So I think as an interior guy, he can do really, really well. Not to say that he can't play outside, because I think he'd play that well as well too. I think he's more valuable inside. Let him be close to the line of scrimmage. Let him be able to use him as a blitzer once in a while. Let him help the team, and we've seen it beforehand, help in run defense because we know he's a sure tackler. So I wouldn't be adverse to seeing him at safety. But the thing is going to be, he's not, since teams don't really run a lot of base stuff. Besides, you're not playing like the AFC North. You're not playing the Ravens all the time with those two that use a lot of 2 tight ends sets. So even if he did, you're not going to see it that much. You're going to see more 3, 4, 5 wide receivers. So he may just be in the slot to begin with. So who knows? Like it's almost like you see him a lot in that position when he played last year. So I wouldn't mind him playing safety, but also moving back to nickel as well too. So he'll be on the field no matter what. They're trying to get their best 11 players they can on that field.
For those who don't remember what Chris Franklin is talking about, this is the little ditty from last year that CJ GJ dropped that was caught by the NFL Films crew. I'll never forget that. That was so, and then I love the camera catching Cooper DeJean's look at his face. He's like, "What the?"
And that was CJ GJ as a whole. Sometimes you're just walking by and you're like, "What was that?" But it was funny. Like that, I will say that he's one of the guys I'm really going to miss. I mean, say what you want about him, but he was always entertaining to see whatever's going to do. I'm going to miss that guy.
So,
but yeah.
Can I just say this? And listen, Chris, you cover the team every day. So if I misrepresent CJ in this way, and what I'm going to say, just shoot me down, okay? But I watched that interview with him on the Pivot. And I don't know if you watched the whole thing or not, or if you just saw clips, but some of the dialogue that him and Ryan Clark had, I got to be honest, there's a part of me that's actually glad he's not here, only because of the fact that dude seems to interpret things very differently than other people. And I don't know if he is as mature in his social awareness, shall I say, than he thinks he is, if that makes sense.
I think this is a guy who wears his emotion on his sleeve, and that's a lot. And then sometimes he'll sit back and take stock of it and go, okay, yeah, I'll just do that, and then he'll change that. I think he's one of those types of guys, because he initially hears something like, wait, what's this? What's that? And then it's like, okay, yeah, maybe it's right, what have you. So I think that's why I got to, when hearing him in the 2 stints he was here, that's the sort of sense I got that. The thing I'm kind of wanting to see and a little worried about, if you're looking in terms of team, is sometimes you need a guy like that who just you know what, and you need a guy, a spark plug, or a guy with a personality like that to mix up and liven up the locker room and on the field as well too, because he You know, it's interesting to say he says some stuff here and there, but when he goes there, you need that spark. And you're looking at who on this defense be that guy. Nolan Smith has the chance to do that. I see him more as like a BG type guy who do that, but you're looking around, you don't see like that wild card that you have to worry about. Not only as in I can't throw the ball across the middle of the field because he's looming, but also like I don't want to go across the field because I don't know what he's going to say, what he's going to hit, or what have you. So that's something I want to see who develops into that guy.
Well, I think that's where the final thought here on the safety position is. We have been kind of looking at this position here on 97.3 ESPN as kind of a three-man race in terms of Sidney Brown, Drew Makuba, and then Tristan McCollum is still hanging out there because he's the one guy who actually knows probably that position the best after he got the playing time last year. So how do you stack this safety competition right now?
If it was up to me, the safety that I would like to see is not on the roster yet, and that's Justin Simmons. But yeah, I think Justin's holding out for the most money as possible, and the Eagles are their whole thing. But it's one of the things I think it's going to have to. I really think it's going to come down to Makuba, and if that shoulder holds up, he's good to go, and how well he picks up that whole entire defense. Because behind, and I remember Fangio saying this beforehand, besides middle linebackers, the toughest one to pick up in the system. The second one is safety because of all the assignments, the matches, and everything what have you. That is extremely tough for a rookie, and that's what I want to see how well he does. That's what I really want to see him on the field and see what he can do in terms of that as well too against a different offense, what have you. And that's what I want to see what happens this week coming up. So I think it's Makuba's job to lose. I think Brown's definitely going to get some looks, but the problem is he gets injured a lot. Like he's hurt. So I'm wondering, like, it's a bad thing. I personally would go after Justin Simmons, see if you hold out and wait him. And then we've seen him beforehand. He knows the system already. He's worked with Vic beforehand. It's not like he needs like a whole thing to ramp up to get ready. You can do the same thing like they did when they got C.J. Gardner-Johnson the first time. And just you use that at time between the third preseason game into week one just to get him ready and throw him in there.
All right, so before I let you go, because you brought up Justin Simmons, so I'm going to give you three scenarios, all right? You tell me, based on what you know about the Eagles, which do you think is a more likely, not you predicting what's going to happen, what you think is more likely. I just want to clear it out so nobody thinks you're reporting on anything, okay, Chris?
Right, yeah, definitely not reporting that. No
reporting. No, it's not a report.
No,
this is a conjecture with reasonable, based on what you understand about the Eagles, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it more likely that Justin Simmons is signed before the end of the month, Asante Samuel Jr. is signed for the end of the month, or that Howie makes a trade by the end of the month?
I think it's more of a trade. I think it's more of a trade. If I had to go somewhere, and it's going to be for a player that they probably are going to cut and try to bring in and try to tinker around with it. Because I don't foresee them really just looking at their history and everything. I think they roll with what they have on the roster. They see it, let it roll for a couple weeks, and if it's just really, really bad, then they'll go out and try to trade for somebody else as well too. Or maybe sign Simmons if he's still available to prorate his contract and bring him up that way. That's the way I think. Asante Samuel Jr., I just don't see that happening here. I liked him as a player personally. I liked him coming out of college, but I think you're looking more at see who's about to be cut, veteran, what have you. See who's about to be cut. Maybe quote unquote stash him on the practice squad for week one and bring him in week two. I think that would be the scenario if I had to guess what would happen before they would sign Justin Simmons outright. But I think that's the worst one, but that's what I think would happen.
For more coverage of the Eagles at training camp, give him a follow on Twitter, X, and Instagram at C. Franklin News. Of course, all of his coverage is at NJ.com. NJ Advanced Media, Eagles and NFL writer and reporter Chris Franklin joined us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Chris, great stuff as always. Appreciate you jumping on. We'll talk soon.
Hey, talk schools, Dave. Thank you very much.
Josh Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. We'll get back to tech sport on the other side. 609-403-0973 in your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And don't forget, we are always live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you tried online gaming. Who knew 12-year-old boys could be so mean?
And where did they learn to swear like that? 2 hours of losing to these underage trash talkers, and you're starting to question if maybe you really should stick to pickleball and other boomer stuff.
So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Recovering from an addiction is an individual accomplishment. A young mother who chose recovery to care for her family. A high school athlete overcoming opioid addiction. A couple celebrating his recovery. Everyone's recovery is different, and there's no shame in asking for help. Call 844-REACH-NJ. Trained counselors are available 24/7 to help you find the recovery option that's best for you. Tell us your story, and let's begin your recovery today.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Looking for the ultimate sports bar experience? Welcome to Ventnor Social, Down Beach's newest upscale sports bar. Watch every play on 27 big screen TVs with a state-of-the-art sound system that puts you right in the action. Grab a cold drink, savor American eats and fresh seafood, and don't miss their unbeatable lunch, happy hour, and dinner specials. Enjoy live music on the open-air deck, an arcade for the family downstairs, and video games that will level up your night. Ventnor Social on Ventnor Avenue. Visit their Facebook page for up-to-date info and specials.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
For over 135 years, First Bank of Sea Isle City has proudly served Cape May County with a commitment to maintaining a hometown feel. We provide secure, convenient deposit and loan products every day. We're more than just a bank. We're a trusted community partner, offering personalized banking solutions that make life easier for local families of all ages. First Bank of Sea Isle City. Look for our lighthouse in your neighborhood and discover what makes us different.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Who is right? You are an ox and a moron.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Hello? Get back in the room.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig with the final segment here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, Phillies back in action tonight. And that means if you want to go watch the Phillies game, you want to go to yesterday's Creekside Tavern. Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora is where you go to watch the game with the sound on national telecast on Fox tonight. No Tom McCarthy tonight. You got Joe Davis and John Smoltz, I believe, is the broadcast team for the game tonight. And you can watch the game with great specials. Of course, they got $3 Miller Lights, $1 hot dogs during afternoon Phillies games like tomorrow. Tonight, of course, they will have the yard filled with live entertainment. So you have two options the yesterday's in Marmora tonight for the Phillies-Rangers game. You can either go in the yard, watch the game, listen to some live entertainment on the stage in the yard, or you can go inside, get the audio from the game, and watch it indoors. But you can do it all at yesterday's Creekside Tavern, Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. The best sports bar in South Jersey is your place for the Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers all season long, and of course, live entertainment on the evenings and the afternoons all summer long. And we will be back there August 30th for our next live broadcast for Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Before we check back on the text board one more time at 609-403-0973, I want to follow up with what Chris Franklin was saying, because I love talking to guys like Chris Franklin here. You know, I talked with Adam Kaplan, Andrew DeCecco, Jeff Mosher this week on Football at 4, on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. You know, all these guys who cover the team, they can kind of like sift through some of the BS, right? They can kind of give you a larger, deeper perspective on this team that you're maybe not getting from the press conferences. You know, you got to have to read between the lines when it comes to Sirianni, Fangio, Patullo. A little more with Patullo at this point. Fangio is going to give you more of a straightforward. I thought that what Chris said was very interesting. He said, Fangio didn't throw these guys under the bus because he knows he still needs them, and they probably already got shredded during the film session. The fact that Fangio and the Eagles still are not 100% sure who the cornerback 2 is going to be is a problem. Now, you heard Chris say that he thinks it's going to come down to Bennett versus Ringo, the two younger guys, and that Jackson is mostly there just to push them in terms of competition. And I'm fine with that. If there's a scenario where Adoree Jackson is cut for the end of the month and Bennett or Ringo is the one and then their backup is the other guy, then I'm fine with that completely. The Eli Ricks thing is fascinating because Chris Franklin, he intimated something, and Nick Earnshaw has mentioned on the Knicks Nuggets segment here on 97.3 ESPN during the week. Earnshaw has talked about how Ricks doesn't seem to get a real shot, a real fair shot. And there has to be a reason for that. Either he doesn't pick up the defense as well as he should, or he has too many lapses in judgment, or the Eagles just feel like he doesn't have the athletic. Like, part of the reason why Kelee Ringo is getting so many opportunities is because Kelee Ringo is actually an elite athlete. He was a 5-star athlete coming out of high school. This is a dude who is one of those, like, Clemic Performance Method A+++ athletes. Like, if Dave Clemic ever got his hands on this guy and did his measurements, that guy would be like top 5 in like almost every measurable category. So you have a situation where you have one guy who's just this freakish talent in Kelee Ringo. And I don't know if Ricks is that kind of talent. I don't think he has the ceiling that Ringo does. And part of the reason why you bring in Bennett is because Bennett is kind of like the in-between of Eli Ricks and Kelee Ringo. Bennett is a guy with potential and talent and ability, but he's also a guy who has what the other two don't, which is starting experience and shown you on tape what he can do. and I'm not going to go as far to say Bennett is the break glass case of emergency guy, but I do think he is the, if you are thinking about going on a road trip, you would like to drive in one vehicle, but the vehicle might not be as dependable. The gas mileage not as good. Bennett is the vehicle that might not be as fun to drive, but he's dependable. The gas mileage is good. And he's got everything you need, the job, to do the job, should I say. And as I said before, the Eagles' schedule, when you're playing a team like Dallas twice, Washington twice, Tampa Bay, the Rams, the Vikings, again, I believe that week 7 is when Addison will be back from his suspension. But again, the Packers have some receivers. The Chargers got receivers. Like, you got enough teams on your schedule that number 2 cornerback is going to be incredibly important this year. This is not going to be able to just get away with it. And by the way, it's not like the pass rush was elite last year either. I think Nolan Smith does take a step forward. I think Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uche can be contributors. I think Jalen Carter is going to be another year better, and so is Jordan Davis. But none of those guys outside of Jalen Carter is going to be an elite threat right now. I think Smith, Hunt, and those guys on the edge, they're still young, they're still developing, they're still growing into what they're going to be. So you need your back end, corner and safety, to be on their game more often than not. And that's, again, back to the safety situation where you heard Chris Franklin said that he feels like they want Makuba to get the job. They want Drew Makuba to be the guy. And then part of the reason why they want to be the guy is because in many ways, Drew Makuba, if you watched him at Clemson in Texas, he was a version of C.J. Gardner-Johnson, that elite, instinctive safety who could be a playmaker in the run game and in the pass game. And what Makuba has that C.J. Gardner-Johnson doesn't is C.J.'s not as disciplined as Makuba is. Makuba went 27 straight starts without committing a single penalty on defense. He is disciplined. He knows what he's doing. The question is, after he sustained that shoulder injury in camp, is he behind the learning curve? Is he going to know the defense well enough week 1 of the season? Or does Sidney Brown steal that opportunity? Let's hear one more time what Vic Fangio said today about Sidney Brown. Because right now, Sidney Brown has been getting a chunk of those first-team reps with Makuba's shoulder injury.
I thought he did fine, and I think he'll keep progressing. Sidney's got a lot of good stuff to his game. We just got to polish him up and see things a little better, a little quicker, which is a natural progression for young players who he didn't have. He didn't training camp last year from a defensive standpoint was a very small chance for him to grow. So this is his time.
We're going to find out. Is it Sidney Brown's time? Is it Makuba? Or, as Chris Franklin mentioned, do the Eagles just do the, you know what, never mind, let's go get the veteran Justin Simmons? A lot of pieces still to be figured out. We will have you covered at Eagles training camp all month long here on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks again to Chris Franklin from NJ.com, Oscar Buttigieg from the Phillies Spanish radio broadcast team, and Andy McNamara. And we'll do fantasy football each and every week here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks to all of you for listening on 97.3, watching on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll be back next Saturday following the Eagles and Browns game right here on 97.3 ESPN. Have a great weekend, everybody.